This is going to be a fun, intense Saturday night of racing with so much on the line on the biggest stage in NASCAR. As NBC welcomes you to NASCAR Cup Series Racing, this is the Coke Zero Sugar 400 from the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway. Around about 80 degrees, some light cloud around, and we're hoping the rain stays away for a fun night of racing. Hi folks, Lee Diffie, along with two gentlemen who've experienced what that feeling of victory is like on the biggest stage. Steve Letarte, Jeff Burton. Jeff, you first up. Why is it so important here? Why does it mean so much?
Well, this is it. This is Daytona. This is the birthplace of NASCAR. This is where it all started. The greatest have won here. If you're a NASCAR driver, you have to win here. It's part of its heritage. But the problem with that is drivers tend to push, try to make stuff happen. They want that win so badly, and we see bad decisions at big wrecks because of it.
Simply put, it's the World Center of Racing, because if you're a stock car driver, this is it. IndyCar its home might be Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Well, stock car racing, its home is Daytona. I've been coming here since I was a 16-year-old kid. Every time I come through the tunnel, I get chills. Just standing up here, I have chills. There's something about racing here that's different than everywhere else.
All right, well, one guy who was right in the thick of it, you're looking at his car right there, up behind the pace car in the Ally Chevrolet, that's Alex Bowman. Why is he in the thick of it? Because he's one spot above that cut line. He could go to the playoffs, he could miss out. Let's have a talk to him. Jeff, dial him up.
Hey, Alex, this guy was up in the booth. You with us?
Yes, sir.
Big night tonight. You're in a tight battle trying to get in these playoffs. What's the strategy?
Yeah, man. Unfortunately, a little more of a stressful situation than I'd like to be in, but really just go for stage points here in the beginning, try to catch the 45 and see how that works out. Kind of the first stage will probably dictate the rest of our race and go from there. We've had really fast Ally Chevys here lately. Everybody at Hendrick Motorsports has been working really hard. So, you know, winning it makes it all easier. So hopefully we can get that done.
So you have track position starting on the outside pole. Do you just do everything in your power to keep that, get real aggressive, or do you try to be smart, make sure you're there at the end?
Yeah, I mean a little bit of both, right? Like you've got to keep your track position, but also know you have to finish the race. So, yeah, patiently aggressive, I guess, but starting up front is good for us, and we'll see how it goes.
All right, buddy, thanks for taking time. Good luck tonight.
Starting up front
guys.
Is good for Alex Bowman, and we check out tonight's starting grid brought to you by Coca-Cola. As you may have heard in Countdown to Green, qualifying was cancelled yesterday because of localized lightning. So they start per the rule book, which is a blend of points and last week's finish. Ryan Blaney starts on the pole position. Back on row 2, Kyle Larson and defending series champion Joey Logano. Back on the third row, Austin Cindric, who was so good on super speedways, and Denny Hamlin, a 3-time Daytona 500 winner. Row 4, Austin Dillon, the most recent winner, and William Byron, who will go to the back of the pack. We'll tell you more about that in a moment. Chase Briscoe and a guy looking for a win, desperate for a win, Brad Keselowski.
Row 6, Josh Berry, Daniel Suarez. Daniel still not sure what he's doing next year. Row 7, a row full of drivers that need to win tonight. Zane Smith, Kyle Busch. Row 8, Christopher Bell, alongside Carson Hocevar. SVG, and Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs, one of those drivers needing to win to move into the playoffs. Ross Chastain and Michael McDowell. Michael McDowell is a very good racer at this racetrack. Expected to see part of the battle tonight.
Row 11, we have AJ Allmendinger next to Bubba Walls. AJ top 10s of 6 of his last 8 starts here at Daytona, but he needs to improve that to a victory to make the playoffs. In row 12, Ty Dillon will start next to Chris Buescher, who won this race back in 2023. Row 13, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 2-time winner at Daytona, will start next to Eric Jones. Row 14, Tyler Reddick, safely in on points, but will that be enough? He'll start next to Todd Gilliland. In row 15, Cole Custer and Chase Elliott.
All right, let's keep moving through this grid. On the 16th row, Ryan Preece, another one, desperate for a win. He wants to forget about those flips that he's had here. Row 17, Riley Herbst, John Hunter Nemechek, so good on this style of track. Row 18, Cody Ware, Austin Hill is in the field tonight. Behind them, row 19, Justin Haley, BJ McLeod, and on the 20th row, Casey Mears, Joey Gay. So there's the full field for you for tonight's Coke Zero Sugar 400. 160 laps, 400 miles. Let's check in for a pre-race pep talk with the 60. Here it is.
Guys, we're going to play free tonight. You drive free out on the racetrack. Pit crew, I want you guys to play free in the pits. We're going to call it free up here on the box. And when the dust settles and the smoke dies down from your victory burnout, we're going to go party in victory lane, boys. Let's have a good one.
No, I just feel like I need Freebird playing.
I love a good pep talk. Derek Finley on top of the box for the 60th Priest. You're going to see right away the 24 of William Byron lost his crew chief because of an issue with inspection. The continuation of that penalty, he will have to come down and do a stop and go on the first lap of the race. We will see how far that puts him behind.
It's one of those nights. We're at the beach, pardon the pun, but there's a line in the sand. Tonight, someone's going to experience that pure elation of maybe winning and going to go through to the playoffs. For others, they will come so close, and it's going to be a tough final 10 races of the season. This is it. It's the final race of the regular season. We talk playoffs after tonight, under the lights at the World Center of Racing. It's time to bring the action in the Coke Zero Sugar 400. Are you ready? Let's go! Such an important night for Alex Bowman. He's down on the low line, and he's being pushed by his teammate, the 5 of Kyle Larson. It's Blaney up on the high side. Here they come.
See, Bowman on the bottom lane being pushed by his teammate. He talked about how he wants to get track position and then keep it. He's going to have to block. He's going to have to be very aggressive. He's going to spend more time looking at his mirror, Steve, than he is out of his front windshield.
35 laps, stage 1, no pit stop required, and for that reason, I think that tends to lean the 48's way. He has track position, as you mentioned, try to keep it, and as we talked beforehand, the 24 of William Byron peels down to pit road and serves his penalty as the pack thunders into 1. There he is, a stop and a go for the 24. Won't lose a lap here, but he'll be running so much slower than the pack. If it stays green, they'll easily overtake him.
Again, that was an infraction post-tech inspection. Little bit of movement within the top 10. Just trying to find that position, find that groove. And look at the 22 of Joey Logano, pushing his teammate Ryan Blaney. Expect the Fords to be strong. We climb aboard the King's Hawaiian Toyota Camry of Denny Hamlin.
Great shot right here. You can see on the roof. You can't even see the 12 car in front of the 22 car. It shows you how limited the visibility is. And the driver's visibility is actually worse than that because he's lower in the car.
Jeff, what are these early laps like here, where you're just trying to find your position, get in the groove, so to speak?
Well, remember, no practice at all, no qualifying. Everything got rained out yesterday, so these are the first laps these cars have made on the racetrack and the drivers in them. This, Steve, is a racetrack that it's not easy to make your car handle well. You want it to go fast, you want it to be aerodynamically slippery, but that makes it drive bad. It takes downforce off the car. There's a balance in that every single race. You really don't know what kind of car you have until you get in these positions.
These drivers make it look like it's a Sunday drive. It's anything but. It can be at maybe 10 miles an hour slower, but if you want to compete, that thing has to be on the razor's edge of control.
Look at this inside line. We talked about Alex Bowman, his teammate Kyle Larson pushing him. So far, that has not worked out. The inside has not been good. They continue to lose positions.
It is not, and they are still being overtaken. On board with the Brez Tree onboard camera right off the right rear spoiler, looking through that big 7-inch piece of Lexan that's bolted to the deck lid. A big parachute, making the drags very high and the draft very powerful.
What a week it was last weekend for Austin Dillon. They're in the 3, going to the playoffs with that victory year after year in Richmond. And look at this separation now.
That anxiety, those nerves that the 48 of Alex Bowman talked about all week have got to be peaking right now. The game plan had to be to score stage points early. Everything was going right, started on the front row, and here he is outside the top 10 right away and really has done nothing. I don't even think he switched lanes.
He hasn't. He did nothing wrong, right? Sometimes you just get in the wrong line and more energy gets built elsewhere, and that's what happened right here. He has his teammate behind him. He's got good cars behind him, but the energy is in the middle and in the outside lane right now. Sometimes that just happens. And where are you going to go? There's no place for them to go right now.
On the opposite side, the 6 of Kozlowski, 4th in line. that bright orange car. Think about what could be for him. This is a champ who had just such a slow start. He has no chance at points. He knew that months ago. He said it had to be a win. This 6 car has figured it out, and here he is, 4th in line. Something just says it could be Brad K's night.
How about Kyle Busch? Busch sits in 6th place. He had that heartbreak here a year ago when he came so close to passing Harrison Burton coming to the line. He was out in front in the closing laps and then had it all taken away from him. The Cheddar's on board. Let's go for a quick ride with Kyle. There's a car out in front of the lead pack. Who is it? After serving the penalty, it's William Byron.
Now he'll be eligible for the free pass as long as that's the position he's in when the caution comes out at the end of the stage. Jeff, I assume right here he just puts it on the yellow line, just tries to hopefully get picked up somewhere mid or back half of the pack.
Yeah, watch what he does. He'll try to stay out of the way, but as they start to catch him, they'll actually slow down a little bit, or he'll actually speed up. Then he'll try to get a little bit closer to try to get to those cars and use that turbulence to help pull him along. He knows right now he's not in danger of anyone else being a lap down, so he's going to be really cautious right here. Tuck in behind him, use that draft, and just ride around, be that first car lap down.
That's the best view, though, of the speed difference between a pack of cars and one car by itself. Now, there's a few stragglers behind the pack, so he'll pull right here to the right, jump in front of, I believe that's the 3, is that right? That's the 3, yep. He'll go by him, but there's still a few more coming.
And remember, he's wide open in the gas.
Yeah.
He's going as fast as he can go. Just the draft of these cars is just so much faster.
Lead car on the high line is the 71 for Spire Motorsports. The 2021 Daytona 500 winner, Michael McDowell. Michael's gone from 20th to 7th. It's a good start, Marty.
Yeah, in that blue car on the outside, Lee, and I've heard a couple of spotters mention that they have not really blocked that high line. At times, McDowell has gone 3 wide, at times 2 wide, but it's working. Jeff, are you surprised? No one's moved up there to block McDowell, who, as Lee mentioned, has come from 20th up to the top 10.
A little bit of the fear is if you block that outside lane before you know it's fast, then you get up there and now they take that spot on the bottom and the outside lane goes backwards. We just saw the bottom lane goes backwards. So that's telling me that for whatever reason, and it changes all the time at this racetrack, that you're going to see this most of the night. You're going to see the second lane all the way up against the wall and the bottom lane in the middle of the racetrack. Now, when it gets 3 wide, they'll be everywhere. But right now, this middle and top lane are the fastest.
Coca-Cola Chevy for Trackhouse Racing. Daniel Suarez, he goes down low. He's had 2 great top 10 results. He's hoping to win and get into the playoffs here tonight. You saw it during the break. That's the first caution of the Coke Zero Sugar 400. Casey Mears sideways and in trouble in the garage 56 SI Yachts entry. What happened, Jeff?
You can see in the middle of the corner, watch the left rear tire. Actually, it's coming off the right rear. The sparks coming off the right rear, tire down, spins around. I gotta tell you, that's pretty fortunate. That's the only contact he made.
You see it right there on board with the 3 of Austin Dillon. You mentioned it, Jeff, no practice, no qualifying. Pretty good wreck avoidance by the 24 of William Byron, who should get the free pass. So I don't know if he ran over something, if maybe something's rubbing. I mean, this car is pretty straightforward. You wouldn't think there'd be contact with anything, but either way, a flat tire. Nice job by Casey Mears keeping it out of the wall.
Casey's first Daytona race in some 6 years.
Yeah, it's fun seeing Casey back at the racetrack.
He's edging closer to that 500th race.
Yeah.
Let's hope he gets there.
That thing jumped sideways, and he was probably thinking, what am I doing back? This is not fun. This isn't the fun I remember. Good break for the 24.
Sure is. Yeah, his time at the back was pretty short-lived. Let's check in with Kim Kuhn. What you got, Kimmy?
Yeah, Chris Buescher, remember, in a must-win situation, and these cars were not shaken down because they did not do any qualifying laps. During the pace laps before the race, Chris Buescher got on the radio and said, I've got brakes, but the pedal is very long. Here was the most recent update.
We can bleed them. So you want us to work on them here then? We're going to have to in order to make this best day as possible. All right, we'll pit when it's open and we'll work on them.
So they will come down pit road to work on the brakes. You heard Chris say in order to make the best race possible, put themselves in position to win, they've got to work on them.
Fortunately here at Daytona with no brake cooling, accessing the calipers to open the bleeders, let the air out and some fluid out, try to get whatever air bubbles there is, and you can kind of top the fluid off pretty good. But as long as the pace laps are here, if it's just air in the system, it should be easy to reconcile. Now the challenge is, why is there air in the system? These guys load cars all the time with no issues, so be interesting to see if that solves their problem.
And I'm sure some at home are wondering, why do you need brakes at a place at Daytona where you pretty much run wide open? Well, you use those brakes to get your front bumper right against the rear bumper of the guy in front of you. You drag those brakes, you use them. Green flag pit stops, you have to have brakes or you will not keep up. You can lose the draft if all that doesn't work, Dave.
Ty Gibbs on pit road. He'll get 4 fresh Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel. The fueler making sure, pack that fuel cell tight. Kim.
And you see, as predicted, Chris Buescher, top of your screen on pit road, they will bleed those brakes. Will take a little bit of time, but they still are optimistic about the rest of this race.
We'll see if the 17 and Chris Buescher can come back from that. Meanwhile, we've had only one leader thus far for the 13 laps. Ryan Blaney, Team Penske Ford, out in front the entire way. check out the QR code you see there on the left-hand side of your screen. And if you scan it to enter the Coca-Cola Daytona 500 Flyaway Sweepstakes, and you'll have a chance to win the trip of a lifetime. Speaking of Coca-Cola, there is the Coca-Cola onboard inside the Trackhouse Chevy for Daniel Suarez, trying to win his way into these 2025 playoffs. As we're getting ready to end this caution, come back to green, let's have a really close listen inside the 6 team with Brad Keselowski, spotter TJ Majors.
5 away, ready, go, 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 go. Joey's on him, Joey's on him. They're tight, they're tight, they're tight. They're tight with you, the 8, staying in your track. Everybody's 2 by 2. Tight in front still. I'll let you know as soon as he lets them go. They're tight, they're tight, they're tight, they're tight, tight, off, they're off, they're off, half, 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 tight. And still down there. Barely there. You are clear. You're clear. Pushing on the bottom in your mirror, coming back to you. They're pretty tight in front, not pushing though. They're half off, 1 off in front. 1, 1, 1. 2 by 2 out back here still. He's in your tracks now. He's slipping space. Be careful. In your tracks, 99 trying to work back to the bottom here. He's about half back, a lane lower. Inside by himself, tight in front. They're half apart. Half. 1. 1. Half. Quarter. Tight. Tight. Still tight.
That wonderful symbiotic relationship between spotter and driver.
2 things that really jump out. 1, how quickly he can pick the binoculars up and find them in his field of vision. And 2, all the information, all of that half, half, 1, tight, tight. That's the gap between the 22 and the 12. That has nothing to do with the 6. Those are the 2 cars in front of him. Now it has everything to do with what Brad needs to know, but he's not spotting his car. He's spotting the 2 in front of Brad.
Yeah, think about TJ Majors, the spotter. He is spotted for Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Dale Jr., some of the very best on this type of racing.
Did you miss that voice in your head, or you've got one now with our producer?
No, I don't. I like being here. I love this seat. This is great racing. It's so much fun to watch, and I love the strategy. I love watching a driver make a move. Like the 6 car, Brad Keselowski, that orange car, he could have made a left right there and gotten below Joey Logano. Well, why didn't he do it?
Oh, look at that 34 across the nose.
Todd Gilliland and
Reddick.
Tyler Reddick.
Oh,
into the wall.
Exactly what Reddick didn't want is to have an issue early and leave the opportunity for the 48 to gain the points, and yet here he is, wrecked, running in the middle of the pack.
It happened last week in Richmond when he was running so strong, and it's happened again here in Daytona.
Came in 29 points above the 48. And here he is in the middle of stage 1, wrecked on pit road.
He's backing down pit road because he knows he made contact with the front of the car. He doesn't want to damage it going forward.
All right, now go. No, we need tires. Get right. Start with the right. We need tires. Do the tires and fuel.
That car has some really heavy damage. You can see the hood buckled up. I think the back is in pretty good shape. You saw the tire changer just reset the flap. No big deal. The concern I have is in the front. Can they clearance the front tires? Will it continue to cool? They put 4 tires on it and send them out to drive around. Let's take a look what happened.
You said it before the race. Tyler Reddick, the smart thing for him to do is to ride around in the back. There's Alex Bowman behind him. Remember, he's racing Alex Bowman for this position. Coming off turn 4, he and Gilliland come together, and around both of them go. And Alex Bowman right behind him, he had a front row seat of it.
Sure did.
That is big damage. Remember last week, he lost 28 points to Alex Bowman last week in that incident. And now, early in this race, a problem.
And really, Steve, same as last week. Wrong place, wrong time.
Wrong place, wrong time, but their choice to be up here, they really don't need to. Jeff just mentioned it. I couldn't tell if the 45 came up or if Gillen had no idea the 45 was there. That was really odd to me. It didn't look like the 34 got out of shape, like it was a handling issue. It looked to me like not a disagreement, but maybe a miscommunication about real estate. I don't know if the 34 thinks he can move left. That's what it looks like.
Well, look how much higher the 45 is than the 48
yeah,
behind
that could
him,
be, yeah. That's what's always hard for me is just what is the bottom, the middle, and the top lane, right? There aren't dotted lines for every lane. There's not painted lanes.
Here's a great shot of it. Remember, this is slow motion. When you're sitting in that race car, there's nothing slow motion about it. You see, I feel like Reddick's coming up and Gilliland's coming down.
Might be a little bit of equity on both sides.
Yeah, and that's usually what happens. And you see the bright orange at the A-post. Those are those new A-post ducts. First race, it's much like the roof flap. All it's trying to do is help keep the car on the ground. You see them on both sides of the 45 continue to pop open right there, that bright orange A-post.
And look at that nose cave in.
Yeah.
That means the splitter's on the ground. There's a good shot of it.
So, it's just odd. Like, you would think at this point in the race, not a lot of pushing and shoving, but Jeff, you mentioned it. It's not as easy as it looks, right? Going around here at these speeds and the communication, and these guys just ran out of real estate between them.
Kim?
Yeah, still trying to diagnose how bad the damage is on that 45 car of Tyler Reddick, but this kind of spoils their plan, especially for the first stage. When I talked to crew chief Billy Scott, he said, we have to earn stage points. Remember, they came in decently in points to make the playoffs, but they were trying to defend their spot from Alex Bowman. And Billy told me, we have to race the whole race because you don't know how the race is going to play out. Stage points are our insurance policy. Does not look like they will be earning stage points in stage one.
Well, it's always easier to say after it happened, but I've had this conversation with Marty on the pit box. I just don't think aggression was the requirement for the 45. I think it was make the 48 go beat you. But either way, now they just need to keep this car on the racetrack. We could have 20 DNFs by the end of this race. We don't know what continuing to run means. So the team now are screwing the hood, trying to seal it to those vents. Remember, those vents are the air that comes in the radiator, and then it vents out through the hood.
What's interesting to me is, what does Alex Bowman and his team, what do they do now? I think they still have to stay on offense. It's still a pretty good point lead to Tyler Reddick. So I think Alex Bowman, I mean, look, if Tyler Reddick's done for the day, a little different thought process, but if he gets back on the racetrack, you said it. We've seen many, many big car wrecks here, take a lot of cars out. It's just not as easy as a decision.
Well, neither of them are going to have an issue unless we have a brand new winner. But if Bowman gets in front of Reddick in points, then he doesn't even care about a new winner.
Let's go back to last week. We mentioned it earlier. He was having such a good night, Tyler Reddick was, and was the innocent victim.
Yeah, he was very frustrated after this wreck. Felt like the guys got together behind him, and he was the innocent victim, as you just said, and it cost him.
Suarez, Ty Gibbs, and then Tyler was in the wrong place, wrong time.
You're never safe in this sport. Just when you think it's comfortable, just when you think everything's going your way, things like this happen.
Second caution in the Coke Zero Sugar 400. And pit lane gets active again. Parker Kligerman standing by. Take it away, mate.
You see Chase Elliott, the 9 car, they pitted in the last caution and actually took fuel. Now they're going to take tires here. They were doing it before just to reduce the fuel time at the end of the stage, but with this next caution, taking the opportunity to put 4 tires on, which can help them at the end of the stage potentially go through it.
Dave, what's happening at the 24?
So he radioed the crew when the caution came out. It feels like something is loose or dragging. When I come up to full speed, that's when I feel it. So they called him into pit lane. Remember, Brandon McSwain is the crew chief filling in for Rudy Fugle here, but they called him in. We'll jack it up on both sides, see if we can find anything on the 24. Back on the lead lap. That's the good news for the 24 group. Back to Daytona in a moment.
What a gorgeous shot. High above the World Center of Racing. Coke Zero Sugar 400 here on NBC. Track president Frank Kelleher mentioned to us earlier, it's the largest summer race here they've had in some 7 years as far as crowd and camper attendance. So really nice to see the stands so heavily occupied for this very important race that's going to determine what the 16 playoff drivers look like. Let's get back to racing. Ryan Blaney at the front, and last weekend's winner on the inside. Looking for a push through. Austin Dillon has been running so well tonight. And the 23 of Bubba Wallace has got Daniel Suarez pushing him.
Only 12 to go in this stage. Things are going to get aggressive. You saw Bubba Wallace got in front of Blaney. When he did, immediately he hung a right to get in front of his buddy off the racetrack. On the racetrack, I don't know that they're buddies, but now he's going to block. He's going to just look in his mirror. Whatever lane has energy, that's where he's going to go. Spotter's going to be talking nonstop. He's going to be in his mirror nonstop. Couldn't get down to the 99 quick enough right there.
Second car back on that low line, the 8 of Kyle Busch. Just give him a chance tonight. Let's talk more about this car, the Cheddar's Chevrolet. Marty, tell us more.
Yeah, riding on board with that Cheddar's on board, and he also leaves a little bit of gap, Kyle Busch does, to Daniel Suarez. Right now, he's got the bump draft going on, but Kyle commented on that gap you see right there between the 99 and him just a moment ago.
That's right.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong with I'm falling off the guy in front of me, and the cars from the inside are jumping up in front of me. Like, I'm not trying to leave that gap. I don't know why I'm falling off.
So Jeff, translate that for us. Kyle Busch a moment ago was second. Now he's falling outside the top 5.
Well, all these drivers want to be able to get right to the rear bumper of the car in front of them and be able to push that car forward. But all these cars, the closer you get, the harder it becomes to get there and to stay there, unless the car behind you is pushing you.
Look at this movement now. Carson Hocevar is tucked in behind Kyle Busch.
Oh man, McDowell is trying to get to that right rear quarter of the 22. He's able to pull it off. Logano gave him a couple almost head fakes trying to squeeze him.
Well, now this outside lane is working, coming really fast. The bottom lane is working well. Also, early in the race, the bottom was horrible. We saw Bowman go to the back. But right now, Kyle Busch leading that bottom is doing pretty well.
Consumer Cellular on board with Brad Keselowski. One of those hopeful of winning and racing his way in. So too with the guy at the front, Daniel Suarez. We've mentioned plenty about that Daniel won't be with Trackhouse. And it says movement here. Wallace decides to go back up. Blaney sticks to that low line. It was announced today that Connor Zilic will be racing full-time in Cup, and there's a big one here. Around goes Bubba. Busch is in it as well. There's Bowman. Bowman's in the wall. Stenhouse is in there. So too Cindric and Zane Smith.
Is it going to be this kind of night? I mean, it has gotten wild already.
Well, it was good while it lasted.
Good while it lasted, says the Brickyard 400 winner. Oh boy. So the two drivers that were immediately above the cut line, Tyler Reddick and Alex Bowman, have both had major drama tonight.
So this right here is going to be a huge advantage to Reddick, because remember, it was the 48 of Alex Bowman's job to find 29 points on Reddick to not be the first in. A new winner, it doesn't matter. A new winner, from what I see with damage on this 48, that's going to eliminate the 48, because I just don't see that damaged car making up nearly 30 points on the car that were on board below. I know Reddick has damage, but this 48's night could be basically over. At least over in a competitive standpoint. That was an interesting wreck, Jeff. It was kind of slow generating. Some wrecks are like one push, bang, they start wrecking. That was a little bit of moving left to right, and then just converging.
Well, let's go back and watch it. Very front of the pack. The 23 of Bubba Wallace. Watch that car on the outside lane. They get 3 wide. And I don't think that Bubba knows that he's 3 wide that low because he's in the middle of the racetrack.
Toyota on board for Bubba. I'm with you. I think he thinks he only has 1 car below him. He ends up with 2 because if we go back and watch it again, the 22 of Logano kind of gets put in a bad spot, which is going to hurt Logano. He's going to go backwards. So watch right here. The 22, there's fire out the pipes. The 8's going to get to the bottom. The 5's going to be outside. Now, if we freeze it right there, the 8's bottom, the 22's middle, the 23's top. But Bubba Wallace is in what would be the middle lane of the racetrack. As we roll it forward, I don't think Bubba knows he's 3 wide top because of where he is on the racetrack. He starts moving left, and then Kyle and Logano Logano has nowhere to do. He's out of the gas, and that's it. The 23 comes across the nose of the 22. But I'm with you, Jeff. I'm just not sure the 23 of Bubba Wallace has any idea there are 2 cars below him while being in the middle of the racetrack.
And of course, it's at the front of the pack. So now all of these guys that had nothing to do with the wreck whatsoever, they come piling into it with nowhere to go. Big left side impact on the 2 car of Cindric. And several drivers that felt like they had a good chance to win this race tonight, that is now either damaged or gone.
The Maytag on board here. Oh my goodness.
That is exactly what it's like. He felt like he was going to roll right through it, and the next thing, there's a car sitting in the middle of your hood.
Here's Alex Bowman's view. There were 3 drivers in particular who skipped their way through. Carson Hocevar, Ross Chastain, and Justin Haley found a clear passage through. This was not a clear passage for Kyle Busch.
All right, so let's go back and watch the beginning. Watch the 5 car of Kyle Larson. Does he get into the back of the 23 here?
Trying to push him forward.
Where that starts, where the 5 looks to be in the back of the 23 and kind of pushes him to the left a little bit, trying to give him a draft down the front straightaway in the trial.
And, you know, the hood flap comes up on the 5, which normally means you're about nose to bumper, right? That gets that low pressure. So I do agree that there's a contact. And now it sounds crazy, but we've all done it. You know when you, like, drop a tire off and you can't pull the car back on the interstate? That 23, once that left rear catches the car next to him, it pulls him into it. Like,
massive moment in stage 1. NASCAR on NBC is brought to you by Coke Zero Sugar. Fan work is thirsty work. Brestree, please visit us at brestree.com. Credit One Bank, NASCAR American Express card. And by Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. Visit progressive.com. More replays of this 12-car wreck during the first stage.
So a lot happens. Watch the 22. He and the 23 get together. A little hit from the 5. Then the 22 and the 23 get together, and there it goes. So a lot happened all at once. Right there's the first contact, and then it just continues.
I think it's as simple as the 23 gets so close to the 22, he kind of just gets pulled into it. And, you know, you just can't turn the wheel right 90 degrees. That doesn't work. So he's trying to get off the 22, but it's just not. You know, we're watching it in slow motion. Can you imagine how fast this happens in real time? I mean, like right here. Look, he's basically touching the 22, and then all of a sudden it just pulls him left. Either way, the result's the same, which is a huge wreck. And this hit right here for the 2-car, he shows up on the scene right.
Boom.
Man, oh, man.
That is a big hit.
And then how about this? The 38, Zane Smith thinks he's through.
Yep.
Like he is, that's much like what we saw to Chase Elliott last week, right? He was like, oh, man, I'm through. And then he gets turned by a wrecking 48 car.
We talked about a lot happening. Watch the 22 of Logano. He gets right to the 12. The 23 is coming down the racetrack. See the fire come out of the pipes of the 22? See it? He's tight. He's had to come off of the throttle. Now the 8 gets underneath him. Joey never had the momentum he wanted because he wasn't handling well. Then contact right there. So all this started back there in turn 4, just with Joey getting tight. Not that the wreck's his fault. It's just everybody converging, and things happen in just a millisecond. And that's how these wrecks happen at Daytona. No one has to do anything drastically wrong. It's just everybody is so close to each other. Any little mistake, and this is what you get.
Well, that ends up being Justin Haley's night right there in the 7. Go back and have that near miss of the 23.
And Hocevar and Chastain.
Yeah, great.
They were all down on the apron there.
And look, if you win tonight's race, it's going to be shocked that you're not a near miss somewhere if the race is anything like this.
By the way, folks, while we've been showing you these sequences of replays, the race has been red flagged. So cars are stopped on the approach to the tri-oval as the crash zone, all the debris, everything's being cleaned up. That hit between Bubba Wallace and Austin Cindric, it doesn't get any better no matter how many times you see it.
No, watch the 2-car. Oh. That is just a blunt impact. Man, those hurt. These all hurt. I've been in many of these wrecks, and I got to tell you guys, it's easy to sit in this seat right here or sit at home and say, well, this guy did this and this guy did that. When you're going that fast, you're going that close to each other, and everybody's coming to the end of the stage, everybody's trying to get the best finish they can. It just happens in a millisecond. Next thing you know, you're pointing the wrong direction, Dave.
And Jeff, guess who had a great view of that and saw it coming literally and figuratively? Colin Presley, spotter for Joey Logano.
You got the ATU, middle's covered outside your mid-3 here, mid-3. I don't think they know.
They didn't know. I got sandwiched. When we were 4 clear, we should have taken it. I don't know why we were waiting. I got tight off of 4 there. That's how I got put 3 wide in the first place. You got the bad arrow spot with the 23.
Couple of key phrases there, but the one that stood out to me was mid-3. I don't think they know. They didn't. Parker?
And Dave catching up here with Bubba Wallace, who's just checked and released from the infield care center. Bubba, did you have any indication that you were 3 wide there?
I need to see a replay. I know everything was happening pretty quick there. Man, what a here's a good visual of it. Sorry.
Taking a look here. A little hit from the 5.
Yeah, the hit from the 5 shoved me down there, and it was like I got shoved up by the 22 when the 12 moved up. He was trying to just, you know, move up and take a lane. But oh well, man, I hate it. 22nd to the lead in a short amount of time. Just huge shout out to my crew on the 23 Columbia Toyota Camry. Hate it for Columbia. Had a good trip with him down here and couldn't get them a result. So I hate that. I'll take the blame for it. Unfortunately, just a scrap deal. Everything was going too good, too early to be all true. So something was bound to happen. I hate that we were involved in it, but hopefully we can get the 45 in still. So all in all, we're locked in. Let's get focused for Darlington, and I'm okay.
That's super speedway racing, guys.
I think his little bit of bewilderment and wanting to see the replay just reminds us that at nearly 200 miles an hour, you know, we break it down frame by frame, but Bubba Wallace, like he said, he went 22nd to the lead. He's a premier drafter when it comes to this style of racing. And even he is, you know, you could see the confusion. And then you heard him say, it was like, well, I think I'll take the blame. Like, he's not 100% sure, but looking at it, he's like, man, you know, from what I see, maybe I did this or maybe I did that. It's always easy in slow motion after.
He had that look in his eyes like we do when we're watching replays. You're not real sure what happened. Right. We're gonna watch this again.
And he was in it.
Yeah, it is, I tell you, it is just it is so wild being in these race cars and having to try to figure out what happened in that type of situation. And, you know, you don't just want to point the finger, that guy did this, that guy did that, because you really don't know.
So let's walk our way down. Let your eyes walk down the leaderboard. Suarez needs to win to get in. Blaney, we already know is locked in. McDowell needs to win to get in. Larson's in. Logano's in. Keselowski needs to win to get in. Same circumstance for his teammate, Ryan Preece. Carson Hocevar needs to win to get in. Ross Chastain, he's in the playoffs. Justin Haley needs a win to get in. There's a lot of contenders early on in this race where this race is looking promising, and they were able to tic-tac their way through that wreckage site.
What does that look like? That's what it looks like. With Suarez leading, if he wins the race, Reddick is then above the cut line. Remember, Reddick and Bowman came in above, Bowman being the first in, which means he is the first out with a new winner. That is Alex Bowman's fear with a car like Suarez or any of the ones you just mentioned leading the race.
Parker, who have you caught up with?
Austin Cindric, who's just been checked and released from the infield care center. Austin, it looked like a pretty hard hit there with the 23 of Bubba Wallace. Was it just sort of close in front of you?
Yeah, I don't really know if we could have gone anywhere else. I thought I made it through most of it, but I guess I highlighted my day as being able to sit here and congratulate you. So past that, I'm probably go to spotter stand and cheer on my teammates. That's about it. So shame. I thought our car handled fairly well, and yeah, just caught in the middle. You could kind of feel the intensity picking up there when probably didn't need to that early in the race. And come to think of it, I actually did tighten up my belts a lap before that. So yeah, just a shame, and felt like. Yeah, like I said, our main tech Menards 4 Mustang handled well enough to be a contender tonight. Just the way it goes.
Seen some cars moving around out there. First of all, thank you, by the way. Is it handling a big factor, you think, tonight?
Yeah, I definitely think it was, and I think it takes more laps on tires for that to really become a factor, and you know, for all three lanes to get used there. But yeah, just the intensity getting ramped up there super early, and yeah, I wish I could tell you more, but I only did about 20 laps tonight.
Glad you're okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Guys, I want to read you something that Austin Cindric said in the lead up to this race tonight. There's always a sense of urgency with this Daytona race, and there's a set approach to deal with that. There's no set approach other than embracing the desperation around us. That's easier said than done. That's come to fruition. There was a little bit of desperation, even though it's only stage one.
Well, he's been a winner down here.
Yeah.
And he knows the kind of moves that you're going to have to make. And you know, the only way you can avoid this type of thing early in the race is right down in the back. Because everybody's fighting for track position. Everybody wants to get it and then keep it. And that aggression is why we have these wrecks.
48 behind the wall right here getting repairs. This should basically allow the 45 to do what he needs. I don't know. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it would take some extenuating circumstances for this car to rejoin and make 29 points over the 45. We'd have to see a lot of wrecks.
There was an 8.5-minute red flag, by the way, caused by this 12-car pileup. Some were lucky to get through, others not so lucky. It's been an eventful night already, and let's get you up to date with tonight's race recap built by Brez Tree. Here's the first caution.
45 of Tyler Reddick, 48 of Alex Bowman come in as the last 2 cars in the playoffs. The first yellow collects the 45, and then this, Jeff, the big one.
Yeah, this is the big one right toward the front of the pack. Many guys needed to win this race to get into the playoffs, and they have a lot of damage. So everybody came together approaching the tri-oval, and Alex Bowman caught a break early in the race. But this right here does not look good for their situation.
Just seeing that point of view again, how it highlighted again how unlucky Zane Smith was, who just got tagged at the very last moment by Bowman. Here we go, action on pit road. Parker's there.
Daniel Suarez, who's been the leader of this race, is going to come down and get tires here for the 99 car. He's been really happy with that car. Even described being up at the front like a video game, super relaxed behind the wheel, Dave.
Almost didn't pit. The crew chief, Jeremy Bowens, for the 6 car, Brad Keselowski down below. He said, I'm on the fence. We could, and we could not. They did.
Very simply, all these cars are must-win cars, and winning a stage or running well in the stage doesn't help their end goal. Kim.
You see the 17 of Chris Buescher finishing up his stop. They did take tires. Everything seems to be okay on the brakes. Just checking in on that. Remember, they bled them earlier. Back to the plan. They've got to win this race if they want a playoff spot.
Yeah, remember those brake issues earlier for Chris Buescher in the 17. See how the night shakes out for him. Coke Zero Sugar 400. We're working our way back towards green, and things just got a whole lot better for Tyler Reddick. You see the graphic there on your screen, locked into the playoffs on points. That's because news just to hand that the 48 of Alex Bowman, Hendrick Motorsports, is officially out of this race.
You can't change everything. Apparently there's chassis damage that's beyond repair for the 48, so it's very simple now. It's either Alex Bowman or a new winner. That's the last thing to be decided here at the World Center of Racing.
Pretty dramatic opening portion.
Go, rolling it,
So let's see how we go here as we race back here under green at the World Center of Racing. And it's Michael McDowell on the low side of Ryan Blaney.
For Blaney, Larson, Logano, all of those playoff cars, a point available for winning the stage. The aggression is real.
Only 2 laps to go in this stage. See the 22 car, he was involved in that incident, but not enough damage to cause him to pit.
Top Gilliland too, up there in the bright green Front Row Motorsports Ford. You see him there. He was involved in the first caution, and he's well and truly in the mix.
Blaney moving up. Thinks the outside lane has more energy.
1 to go, brought to you by Credit One Bank.
Chase Elliott jumped to the top 3 wide. I don't know if it'll get all the way to the front, but this will be an interesting dress rehearsal to see if he can keep momentum. Currently losing it on the outside.
Not enough help. You're going to jump up in that outside lane. You're going to have more help than 1 car.
Blaney, Larson, little nudge there from Chastain. Blaney goes to the low side. Ryan Blaney, who has led 26 laps of this race so far, and Kyle Larson looking to turn around just a slump in momentum. Is tonight the night for the 5? They're in the tri-oval, coming to complete stage 1, and it's Kyle Larson. So while misfortune for his Hendrick teammate of Alex Bowman, it's a positive start for the 5 team.
What a finish.
Guys, that's just stage 1.
Yeah. What a stage.
Feels like we've been at it a little bit longer than that. Here in the Coke Zero Sugar 400, it's been eventful to say the least. Consumer Cellular cut the top off a car. See how they can cut your bill. Get 2 lines of unlimited talk, text, and data for just $30 each. Ditch big wireless and switch to Consumer Cellular. Rough turn of events for a playoff hopeful, and technically he's still above the cut line. That is Alex Bowman. Let's hear from him now with Parker Kligerman.
Rightly, and he's just been checked released from the infield care center here. Alex, you were involved in that massive wreck there. Was there any way to avoid some of what was happening in front of you?
Not really, right? Like, I hate the way the first run went. It seemed like the bottom lane just dissolved behind us, and we tanked. But obviously, we had gotten a lot of track position back, right? Like, we drove back up there to the back half of the top 10 or whatever, and yeah, then just nothing you can do. Welcome to Super Speedway racing, unfortunately. So really proud of my Ally 48 team for, you know, the year up to this point we've had, right? Like, the last 10 or 11 weeks have been pretty special, and yeah, we haven't won. So we're in a tough spot for the rest of the night, but you know, regardless of the outcome, I feel like it's out of our control, and kind of is what it is at this point. So we'll wait and see how the race ends up and kind of go from there. And regardless, we're going to be, you know, hitting hard the next 10 weeks and trying to get a win, whether we're in the playoffs or not.
Will you watch tonight?
Yeah, I mean, you have to, right? Like, there's no way to get away from it. So while I have certainly stayed off social media, I'm going to sit in front of a TV and watch. But yeah, bummed for Hendrick Motorsports, everybody that worked so hard to not have a shot at it here tonight. But you know, it was going to be tough whether we were in it or out of it. And unfortunately, we're on the sidelines watching, and we're going to find out here in a couple hours.
A tough spot, but in good spirits for Alex Bowman, guys.
Yeah, you can hear the disappointment in his voice, and now all he can do is wait. And that is not what drivers like to do, is not be in control of a situation, Dave.
Kyle Larson is in the very first pit stall. They pass by there. The 5 car will get 4 tires and fuel. They will not wait on Brandon Harder to fill it full of fuel. Once the tires are changed, they'll leave, Marty.
Dave working the high line. Michael McDowell was able to go from 18th to 4th in stage 1. No real complaints about the handling of the 71. Meanwhile, Ryan Blaney said, quote, "I didn't know where to go at the end of the stage. That's my fault, guys." He said, "I could stand to be a little bit tighter, especially when we have a lot of different strategy here on pit road." Look at that. Keselowski gains a ton of spots, Lee.
And while he did that, Ross Chastain decided to stay out. So here he is in the safety culture Chevy for Trackhouse Racing. Powerball. It is back with its race to $1 million. These 16 lottery players are locked in for the chance to win $1 million in a live drawing on NASCAR Championship weekend. And this was Louisiana lottery player Megan Lewis when she was declared the $1 million winner last year. It's more than fun. Every time you play Powerball, you're supporting good causes in your home state. Powerball, official lottery game of NASCAR. So, let's check in with the guys on the Peacock Pit Box with Brad, DJ, and Marty, fellas.
You know, Lee, I lost how many times in the pre-race show we talked about chaos, but Daytona delivered the chaos, didn't it? And that's just stage one, DJ.
Yeah, not surprising. I mean, things just get ramped up here. Drivers are trying to get all that they can. You know, we've got a battle within a battle with guys racing for points and stage points, everything going on. So, not surprised, Brad.
I didn't expect it so early, guys. I thought we were going to at least get to the end of the first stage and have an opportunity to see how it's going to sort out. But, yeah, I mean, it's really created a lot of chaos, and these regular season points have really shifted a lot. It's going to be interesting to see.
So, Brad, you mentioned the regular season points. Let's check out those. And key for Kyle Larson, he won the stage, DJ. He has now closed it a little bit closer to Chase Elliott for that second spot. And also Ryan Blaney gaining some points as well.
Yeah, and you see Hamlin, who I think has a lot of damage. I'm not sure he's going to factor in this, but there's a lot at stake for those drivers right there to try to get it as much as they can. And if you can get as high as second, that's 10 playoff points that you gather.
Yeah, check back with me after this stage. We'll revisit this.
And by the way, if you want to know how close Brad and DJ are
too close
to the track with the Peacock Pit Box, this was the jet dryer a moment ago. You guys didn't know we were rolling on this, did you?
No.
As you got a plume of smoke onto the pit box. So we've had a helicopter and now jet dryers.
Oh, it's been a great night. It's fabulous. And the racing's been fantastic. Who'd ever thought that both of our guys that were right there on the bubble would be involved in accidents so early in the first stage?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Very surprising to have two guys who had a possibility to go on to the playoffs, maybe win a championship. Those hopes are gone.
Lee, we're still cleaning the pit box down here. Cleaning the desk off.
My hair got dusty again.
Just a moment ago.
Hey, and let's not forget about poor Christine, one of our audio techs. She was right there in the middle of it as well. All right, back to it. On the track, really good stop for Brad Keselowski. Cody Ware on his flank stopped a little earlier in the race. He wasn't on that cycle. But keep your eyes on Brad Keselowski. Down on that low side, bright orange car. Let's get ready to race in stage two. Here in Daytona, Coke Zero Sugar 400. And Brad Keselowski is one of those guys needing to win to get into the 2025 playoffs. John Hunter Nemechek in the 42.
Look at this top 12. Look at all of the drivers that need to win this race if they're going to try to make the playoffs. That's the only way they can get in. They have track position now. Let's see if they can keep it.
The Arby's Ford for Rick Ware Racing. Cody Ware at the front of this pack, but for how much longer? Here comes Nemechek on the outside.
A lot of pushing on that outside. William Byron. Looking back on William Byron from the Pie Barker camera on Nemechek's car. Been a long-time supporter of John Hunter's.
And they've just renewed, too, their commitment to the team through 2026. So that's good. It goes all the way back to John Hunter Nemechek's truck days and going through next year's NASCAR Cup season. Cody Ware hanging tough on that low line.
Remember the car owner of this 51 car, Rick Ware, his son, behind the wheel. Whoa, big push there from the 6. Brad is not afraid to push. He is very aggressive.
First sighting of AJ Allmendinger tonight. AJ is the second car on the high line.
Watch that middle lane. Let's see what happens right here. You saw they lost energy, but there's some good cars in it. Now the inside lane and the outside lane kind of spread apart. That gives a place for William Byron to go. And here he comes with energy from behind.
You got 4 Fords helping each other out on that low line with Ware and Keselowski, Josh Berry, Chris Buescher.
Look at this inside lane, so the middle lane. I feel like at any moment it's going to get a ton of energy. Brad Keselowski pushing. That separates them. They got a big gap. That allows the guys behind him to pull in really quickly. A great job by Cody Ware. This team doesn't normally run in the front. He's doing it now.
Christopher Bell is going with that iconic scheme of the King with Eric Jones. Legacy Motor Club, the 43, so a couple of Toyotas working together there. Can Jones get with his teammate John Hunter Nemechek and do some good teamwork?
Logano trying to get that inside lane, working on the bottom. Not much help behind him. Well, these wrecks haven't slowed him down, and he hasn't. They are still aggressive.
49 laps to go this stage, over 50 laps. It would be a major stretch for anybody. I'm not saying no one's going to try it, but we expect this to be a fuel savings or a gas and go situation. The 6 of Brad Keselowski had some issues. Listen in.
It looks like we got 1.3 gallons in it, so we're only half a gallon short. We're only a half gallon short. We got like 1.3 in it, Brad, so decent, not bad.
So he was coming in for a gas and go. Take a look at this right here. Brad stops really short because he expects a car to come around him. The gas man's even sitting to the right of his pit box, but watch this. Brad comes in and then rolls and rolls and leaves, and I can't believe he got any gas in at all. Very lucky that the can didn't roll out. There's the 78 coming around. That's what Brad was worried about. So we'll have to see if that being short on gas affects the 6th pit stop. Remember, what we have seen here in the past is it's all about the length of the green flag pit stops. That really makes a difference. Now, if you're asking yourself about Cody Ware, this is a guy that knows how to do it, right? In the last 5 races at Daytona, he has 2 finishes inside the top 10. This race last year, as well as this race back in 2022. So he's out there towing the line, burning more fuel, but getting a lot of experience that may pay huge dividends at the end of this race when it's time to make a move.
Consumer Cellular on board, but we look behind Brad Keselowski at that Dex Imaging 21 of Josh Berry. Last year, he ended up upside down in a wild incident on the back stretch. Progressive telemetry there for Keselowski. But imagine for the Wood brothers, if they could go back-to-back when they won here a year ago in the hands of Harrison Burton.
Finding lower Brad Keselowski. Steve wide open on the throttle. A little surprised by that.
Yeah, probably single file near the front. Probably the air not being pushed enough by just the 51. 193. There you go. Little part throttle into the straightaway. There's Brad working a little fuel savings in. Still part throttle, kind of checking his mirror. We could compare him to maybe somebody further back in the pack, somebody who's too wide around the top, and see what they're doing. Look at William Byron. Here you go. Take a look at this. This is fuel savings 101. He's back there in the pack. He has a big air pocket. He's just cruising around part throttle.
Leader on the bottom line is the 19 for Joe Gibbs Racing. That Bass Pro Shops Toyota Camry, Chase Briscoe. He's locked in. Briscoe says, pre this race, I feel that we are in a groove and we're as good as anyone to go all the way to the championship for. We will see, and he is being pushed by Tyler Reddick.
Tyler Reddick, remember how much damage there was to this car early in the race. They've done a great job fixing it. Able to stay in this draft. Actually, now he's going to lead it. He didn't want to be leading it, but now he's going to be in that position.
All right, we showed the telemetry of part throttle and wide open. We understand not pushing on the gas saves some gas, but how do these guys pull this off? So thanks to our friends at iRacing for the Daytona virtual speedway. We're going to take our lead car right here, 100% throttle, get about 5 miles, a little over 5 miles a gallon, so about 2 laps for every gallon. Let's go back in the pack a little bit further. We'll see a car 5 or 6 cars back. You see he's running 65% throttle, much like William Byron. Well, he can go over 6 miles per gallon. So an extra, say, quarter lap for every gallon of gas, which adds up over 20 and a half. How and why? Let's go back to the lead car. He's pushing all the air, pushing everything out of the way. So he's 100% throttle because he has 100% drag, meaning he's pulling and pushing the biggest parachute. In the back, you see the tunnel of air, 65% throttle because only about half as much drag on this car. So the resistance cut in half. So you ask yourself, if I lift off the gas on the interstate, cars go by me. Why don't they go by me here at Daytona, Jeff? Purely that draft. Further back in the pack, the air just tows you along.
It is so powerful, and that's why when we see a pack of cars, they are so much faster than a car running by himself. You can see them catching a car that was probably in. There you go, the car's damaged. Obviously a lot of damage, but a car running by itself can't come close to running the pace that these cars could run in a big pack because of that draft.
Kim, tell us more about Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, you had a great shot there on that Xfinity Mobile onboard camera of Tyler Reddick. They did a lot of damage fixing. The splitter was pushed back and separated. The damage mostly was the ductwork from that contact with Gilliland early in the race. Crew Chief Billy Scott told Tyler the underbody damage was very similar to Richmond. They also set the toe back right. Everything should be okay. He did say, though, it might not be great out front, but this is a perfect opportunity to remind people you can have damage here and still be in it. Unless you're on the wrecker back in the garage, there is a lot of racing left to do at Daytona.
Unfortunately, to your point, Kim brings up a good point. You have a chance, but you don't want to be leading that. You don't want to be the guy pushing the air with all that damage. 45 at this point has no choice. He just continues to look for a hole in the high lane if he's fortunate enough to pull in line.
Yeah, Justin Haley behind him would love to get in front of him, trying to make a pass and be the one leading that line.
Haley, who won this race in 2019. And he's one of a very special group to have won here in Daytona in both Xfinity and Cup competition. Change at the front in the Coke Zero Sugar 400. Here live on NBC, Ty Dillon now leads the way. But props to Cody Ware. He's led more laps tonight than he has in his entire career. So that Arby's Ford enjoyed its time at the front, and it's still in the mix as he gets a shove from Brad Keselowski.
Maybe back in the front here in just a moment. That Keselowski gave him a huge shot getting in the corner, propelled him forward when he did it. Ty Dillon's going to move up and block the run coming from Cody. Here comes Brad with another push.
Wonder if Ty Dillon is motivated from what he saw out of his brother Austin a week ago at Richmond. He was one of the first people to congratulate his brother on the front stretch. That would be just a monstrous win for Colleague and Ty Dillon.
Top 5 right here are all winless on the year. Talk about these moments. This being the racetrack where you can get a win and move yourself into the playoffs, and the front of this pack, it is loaded up with guys that are in that situation.
A couple of teammates on that low side. Justin Haley in the 7, the 71 of Michael McDowell from Spire Motorsports. The Chevys are working together. How about the guy out in front, Parker? Ty Dillon.
Right, and you wouldn't be surprised this year to see him up there. It's been a great year for Ty Dillon in those called race cars. I talked to him earlier today, and I asked him, is this your favorite year in the Cup Series? He said, by far. This is the most fun I've ever had in the Cup Series. The cars have been fast, and we've been executing at a high level. Remember, almost won that in-season challenge just a couple weeks ago, and now leading at Daytona. He said, if we can get to the front, I know how to control the pack, and that's exactly what he's doing right now.
Steve, he told me a couple of races ago he just loves the atmosphere at Corlick Racing. How important is that to create that team morale and that spirit?
Well, you want to have the desire to run well, but you have to enjoy what you're doing. And, you know, it'd be silly to say, well, you're racing a car, it should be enjoyable. But this can just be a tedious task week in and week out to be great. So I agree that the atmosphere, the motivation, you want a driver that wants to win mostly for his team. Those seem to be the most successful, and I think Ty Dillon has that drive right now to try to bring his team to victory lane. A lot of cat and mouse games being played through the field right now. It's funny because you're trying to accomplish the goal of positioning yourself while saving some gas, while just seeing how your car drives. Because remember, that first stage was so broken up, I'm not sure if anybody got a long enough run to know if handling was going to become an issue.
Let's have a listen to some 71 radio. Michael McDowell.
Justin, to go. Let's get control of this. Get control, then we'll save. Right now, we don't feel like our mileage is good enough to do that.
So basically, that was McDowell frustrated. He says, tell Justin to go. So drive full speed, get to the front, pull up in front of the outside line, and then try to back them up and save gas. And the quick radio from the crew chief that sounds great, but that's not going to work. Our mileage is not good enough. If we go to the front, we're going to be too long in our pit box and give all our track position up, Marty.
Yeah, I just talked to Travis Peterson, the crew chief for Michael McDowell, third in line on the bottom in the blue 71. And I asked him about that radio. He said, hey, we're all in the same boat right now. But, Jeff, that speaks to the frustration of a driver because you don't like saving fuel. You want to run as hard as you can. McDowell saying, hey, I've got a teammate in front of me. Let's go take control of the race.
Yeah, I like McDowell, the way McDowell is thinking, because I believe if you get control of this race, then you can save fuel. But I like where they are now. Yeah. I think they're in a good enough position to do both, to save a little bit of fuel, get track position, keep it. I kind of like where they are now, so don't get too greedy. Remember, we've seen how aggressive it got earlier. We've had multiple cautions in the first stage. You want to get track position, but you can't afford to cause a wreck this early in the race after we've already seen multiple wrecks.
Riding on board the Little Bites Ford for Ryan Preece, the man who started on the pole last week in Richmond. It didn't work out his way. They rolled the dice a little with strategy, had a little hiccup in the final stage, didn't go his way. Preece is in the mix. Been a good night for one of his bosses as well, Brad Keselowski. Troubles for his teammate earlier on, Chris Buescher, but Buescher's right there in that higher line in the 17, the 5th, 3rd Ford. So all three RFK Fords are in the mix.
Yeah, that is exactly what they're going to need as this race winds down. Can they work together to get one of their cars into the playoffs? I just think that's going to be difficult to do unless, Steve, it's not chaotic at the end. If it's kind of an organized finish and you know where to push, but things happen so quickly, and the last thing you want to do as a driver in a multi-car team is make a move to try to win the race But in doing that, you hurt a teammate in him trying to win a race. But you're going to have to be selfish at the end of it if you're going to win. And sometimes when you do that, when you are selfish, then other people lose. That's just how it would have to be, Dave.
Jeff, some of the best fuel savers in the game are Joey Logano and his crew chief, Paul Wolf, doing the strategy. 7th in line on the bottom there, the yellow and red 22. They haven't shown me their cards yet, but Steve, why would you top off on lap 40 if maybe you weren't going to try and make it to the end of the stage? When I talked to Paul this morning, he said you've got to work your race around trying to position yourself at the front, and being the one that doesn't have to stop, that'd be one way.
Absolutely, Dave. It will shorten your stop if you do stop, but let's remember back in the Daytona 500 last year, Ryan Preece went 55 laps. So we have seen a driver extend the fuel tank as far as Logano's trying to go. He does some miraculous things with his Sunoco fuel. We'll see if he can do something now. Here we go. Now we're 3 wide, kind of stacked up. The 7 up front becoming aggressive. Oh, this is what happens. You see that shove between the 51 and the 7. We talk a lot about saving gas, but they are not riding around at 10 miles an hour, right? They're doing this at 185, 190 miles an hour. And I think when people start getting off the throttle, the cadence of the whole thing kind of messes up. It just doesn't roll right, and this is where we see some stack-ups.
Keep your eyes out for that Red Bull 88. There it is down left of your screen. Shane Van Gisbergen, after his 4 wins this year, had 14th last weekend in Richmond after running up as high as 10th. And here on a super speedway, he hasn't finished any better than 30th. And SVG is well and truly up there in the top 5.
Ryan Preece in that 60 car, he moves into second behind Chastain. Ryan Preece has gone on several really bad rides at this racetrack. Huge flips down the back straightaway. You don't want to see that again.
But he's kind of looked at the lighter side of it. Have a look at his helmet.
Yeah.
It's a Top Gun themed helmet. He's leaning into this.
We talked to him about it during the qualifying that didn't happen because of lightning. And I joked, I was like, man, I would get a tank operator or something that stays on the ground. I wouldn't lean into this car flying. He has leaned into it. He has a good attitude as you see him turn left below the 22 of Joey Logano. I love that kind of yellow tinted shield.
Well, this is what we're talking about. Let's take you back, and it's not pretty viewing, but fortunately, Ryan was not seriously injured. It's hard to believe when you see those images.
What a ride. I mean, that is scary. All of us held our breath. And that was just such an impact. And then look at this car. Front of the car just will not sit down or it gets on his roof again. He said this one was actually a harder hit. I wouldn't want to be at either one of them.
And the first one that you saw when it dug into the turf was the catalyst for the backstretch being all asphalt, as you see there on the inside of their approach, where you go past the Le Mans chicane, where the sports cars race in the Rolex 24. Ross Chastain at the front. Let's have a look. We go on board here with Preece.
Watch Ryan Preece. Watch his right hand. He does. Every driver has these little weird things they do. They don't even know it. See, look at that. Look at his wrist. He pops his wrist up when he goes through the trowel. He'll do it sometimes on corner entries. I've never seen that before. I watched a lot of in-car. Look at that. He just pops his wrist up, and I have never, ever seen a race car driver do that. And I bet he would, if he never had an in-car camera, he might not even know he was doing it. I used to move my hands on the wheel and didn't know I did it until I had an in-car camera.
No, we're not at a road course. We're on a super speedway, and SVG is at the front. Connor Zilic officially announced as his new full-time Cup teammate next year at Trackhouse today. into a nice cadence and rhythm here now in the Coke Zero Sugar 400 at Daytona. Under the lights at the World Center of Racing, Shane Van Gisbergen leads with 24 to go in stage 2. Final race of the regular season. Can there be a different winner, a new winner, a 15th different winner this year? Or will it be a repeat winner and keep Alex Bowman, who is no longer in this race, in the playoffs?
Alex said he was going to have to go watch it on television. He's going to be as nervous as anybody, cheering on his Hendrick teammates or anyone who has seen Victory Lane this year would be okay with Alex Bowman at this point. This pack, though, Jeff, it's funny. There's a lot of games being played, but it seems like there's some frustration by some drivers, some pushing, some shoving, trying to get themselves in the right position for this last 22 laps.
Let's talk more about SVG. Here's Dave.
Lee, so interesting to see him out front in the middle there in that Red Bull car. Asked Stephen Doran, his crew chief, this morning after those 4 road course wins, is this type of racing his second best discipline? And Stephen said, well, I don't know about that. He may not be able to, quote, see the air as people claimed Dale Earnhardt could do, but he's getting better and better at it. He's very good. We won't be super aggressive on our strategy, but every time Shane races these tracks, he gets better. What if he gets good at this too, Lee? He already is.
First laps led on an oval since Atlanta earlier in the year. He said that short tracks have been his area of the greatest improvement, but he needs to work on the 1.5 and the super speedways. Well, tonight, so far so good, Jeff.
Well, with 4 wins on road courses, he's locked into the playoffs. And a lot of people act like he can't advance, like he's not good enough. We just watched him last week at Richmond. He showed me he's good enough. He's improving. It is getting aggressive up here. That was close right there. Priest had to lift, but SVG to the lead with a teammate behind him. I don't think it's a given. I think that SVG can make it.
That was a perfect learning moment, right? SVG was a little non-committed to the top or the bottom, ended up getting put in the middle.
And look at the momentum he lost.
Yeah.
Not shuffled back, sent back.
Yeah, and it will happen in a hurry in that kind of middle no man's land.
And how about Cody Ware? In the Rick Ware Ford has just been at the front ever since we commenced this second stage and has been really stable, really smooth in that Arby's Ford. Good stuff. He's got Chase Briscoe right behind, then Christopher Bell. McDowell has been there. He's been ever present, Jeff.
And McDowell's so good on this type of racetrack. Spent some time with him this morning. He was excited about tonight. He said, hey, I was hired to this team to come win races, get them in the playoffs. And he feels they got a great shot.
Ross Chastain is towards the front, car number 1, center lane. Let's talk more about it with Marty Snyder. Marty?
Right in that middle line with that purple number 1 car. I just talked to Phil Surgeon a moment ago, his crew chief. They put it on lap 39. I said, can you stretch it? Can your driver stretch it to get you to the end of the stage? He said, no, we cannot. 20 to go here in stage 2. They will have to come to pit road. But if you go all the way to the very back of the pack, there is Ryan Blaney, who finished 3rd in stage 1. He pitted on lap 38. I asked Jonathan Hassler, is your driver saving enough, running around in the back there to make it to the end of the stage? He said, we'll see. It's going to be really close. So, Steve, are there teams trying to stretch it, in your opinion, with 19 to go in stage 2?
I think there are teams. They're getting better and better and better at calculating how much fuel's on board and how much they're using. Some will stretch it. The problem is, unlike a regular track where staying out is just a big advantage, here, if you pit with 8 or 10 cars and get the wide open throttle, you'll be so much faster than the cars that stay on the racetrack. You could just run them back down anyway. So I think these last 19 laps are going to be pretty fascinating. Why it really matters is because the next stage is 5 laps longer. So this is a little bit of a practice for the final run.
Keep an eye out for that Napa Chevy for Hendrick Motorsports. Chase Elliott, 3rd car, top lane. The familiar number 9, just ahead of Todd Gilliland. Now he ducks down to that middle lane. Now, speaking of Cody Ware, there is as much as a 9-lap disparity of when he pitted to, say, the likes of Joey Logano. So you'll see that Arby's Ford come to pit road sooner rather than later. He will not be able to go the distance.
But Keselowski right here, a big push to Logano all night long. We have been watching this. We've said it multiple times. He is not afraid to push. Little bumper on that thing. It gets worn out on these drafting racetracks.
Nice run from Cole Custer. Looked 4 cars back on the low line. That Haas factory racing effort. The 41, he's in the mix and he's in a reasonable zone. Last time he pitted as well.
Remember early in the race, the bottom lane didn't work and the top lane did. And right there, it just reversed. The bottom lane's working and the top's not.
All right, with 17 to go in stage 2, let's have a look at the Xfinity fastest lap. Who has it? AJ Allmendinger. Bit of movement here. Briscoe goes to the front. Bell's going with him. A couple of Toyotas helping each other. A couple of teammates helping each other.
They split Ware, and nobody is going with him. Everybody just went on both sides of him, put him in the middle, and just left him.
It's go time. Whatever the strategy is, it seems like Summer's starting to employ it. So if you are going to stop under green, I would encourage my driver to run a couple of laps at absolute full song with aggression. Pull up to the front of the pack and then peel off.
We'll see how that works out. Quick break. We'll come back with 16 to go in stage 2. Carson Hocevar got lucky in stage 1, missing the big wreck, but his luck has run out.
Engine has expired on this 77. Fire out the pipes down the front stretch. Let's listen in.
It was acting like it was on the chip at half throttle, and then just started losing power and then smoke.
does not sound good. Anytime smoke is in the answer of the driver, that's never a good thing. Let's see exactly what happened. Looks to me, Jeff, like some sort of instant engine issue. You're going to see him kind of go through the screen. You're going to see some sparks and then some smoke right there, right out the pipes.
It feels like this team in particular has had a fair amount of engine issues this year.
Right there, it completely expires.
And then he just cannot make it back around. So car stopped on the back straightaway. NASCAR is forced to throw the caution right in the middle of the pit sequence.
So now in my mind, anybody who hasn't pitted is going to pit. Now, are you putting enough gas in to run the next 12 laps? Are you filling the thing up? I think there's going to be a different plan for each car that comes to pit road. There's a handful of cars, McDowell, Dillon, Allmendinger, and Ware, that have already pitted. They could stay out, kind of like a road course. They're not a lap down, and they'll just cycle to the front. You see the beat and battered Denny Hamlin machine, the white hood with a bunch of tape on board, the King's Hawaiian roll on board. He's going to be the free pass. So if you're a Denny Hamlin fan, want to know where your guy is that damage earlier, they've continued to persevere.
Or a King's Hawaiian fan.
Yeah,
I am a fan of.
Aren't we all?
There may or may not be some up here in this booth.
Thanks to the AMR safety team, they've been busy tonight. Multiple incidents. They were there with Carson Hocevar as quickly as they could be. So at this point, 12 to go in stage 2. Been an eventful night here in Daytona. Last race of the regular season. And there are still some very hopeful drivers in this night where they know anything can happen. They knew that there was going to be chaos. The nature of super speedway racing. Win and you're in.
And they can't open pit road right here because the 77 has come to a stop on the entry of pit road, so they were not able to open it. There he is right there. You just can't bring all those cars down pit road with him sitting there.
So it'll be very interesting. I can make an argument. If you're a must-win car, I think this is an absolute timing to put 4 tires and fill it up with gas, and now you're basically racing 76-lap race. If you are looking for points because of maybe your regular season points that you heard the guys in the pit box talk about, those guys, say like William Byron running second, he might take a splash of gas, try to go back on the racetrack and try to win this stage. There's an advantage for them. Let's listen in to Priest in the 60, currently running third.
I'm sure he was asking why I pulled out, but I'm sick of following him. He doesn't know how to push, or whenever he pulls up in front of me, he doesn't know how to lead, so I'm not riding behind him.
We are told he was talking about the one of Ross Chastain. So some very direct thoughts there from Ryan Priest.
Well, it's funny because some guys just don't work well together, right? Or their cars don't work well together. Many times it's really hard to explain. Like, I can push that guy, but you know, he may not be able to push me, so he's no good for me. I can't take advantage of him. I got to find somebody else.
We're not done with Daytona, but we're already looking ahead to next week for the Southern 500 weekend in Darlington. By the way, Xfinity is racing on the road course at Paulden in the Pacific Northwest. It's a busy graphic, but that's because there's a lot going on across Fox Sports, CW, True TV, and of course on USA as well. So busy weekend. Cup and Trucks kick off the playoffs. Still 2 races to go for the Xfinity Series. So busy weekend next weekend on either side of the country.
It's hard to beat a weekend at Daytona following it up with Darlington. It doesn't get much more historic than those 2 back-to-back. Love Darlington.
Going to have to be very clear with your communication to your driver. Multiple plans mean coming and going at different times.
Dave Burns is going to kick us off. Take it away, Davo.
William Byron staying out here. Remember, he started the day with a pre-race penalty and a lap down, but now running up at the front of the pack. Ryan Priest on your upper right there, he did pit. He'll get 4 Goodyear tires. Balance very good for that driver, Kim.
Balance also good for Cole Custer, bottom left. He said handling is good even at the end of the run, better than others. Maybe just a little snug mid-pack. The team telling him probably the last time we'll take tires. Marty.
Kim in stage 2, Ross Chastain drove from 22nd to 4th. Phil Surgeon said any issues with the handling? He said no issues at all. These are the cars that came to pit road. There were several, though, Lee, that did stay out, as Dave mentioned, William Byron among them.
You may have noticed there Brad Keselowski towards the back of the pack. leaving pit road. What happened at RFK?
Oh, stall.
Back at Daytona, been a lot of focus on the fuelers tonight as the fuel save and the fuel consumption, very important. I had to find out for myself, so I asked Big Rick Rozier for John Hunter Nemechek to show me the ropes. That connection right there, it's got to be in, but it can't be straight like that. Yes, it's got to be angled just a little bit. I learned that. I learned the car sometimes doesn't stop where you want it to, so you got to plug where it is. Fill it all the way up. Well, we got close, 86 pounds, and then no spill. Yeah, no spill. What happens when you spill? Big Rick told me that's OMG time. You've cost your team time, and maybe your tire carrier and your changer slip in that. That's not good either, Lee. Hopefully no sparks.
You're doing a great job, Dave. We've had the jack, we've had the rear tire change, now the refueling. What's next?
I'm not sure, but I'm looking around. Lots of jobs down here that I can't do.
Get him in a car, see how fast he can go.
Are you sitting beside him?
No way. I wouldn't ride with him on the highway, much less out here.
Hey, we had a really enjoyable and tight, close race to the end of stage one. It's kind of got that feeling, Steve, again here in stage two.
It really does. Byron Elliott, Blaney Larson, all very low in fuel. We assume they can make it. And old tires, we'll see if they can get those tires to grip for this short little sprint, trying to gain some of those very important stage points.
William Byron, remember he started at the back, had to serve a penalty, a stop-go penalty after a post-tech infraction. Let's get back to racing. He is side by side with his Hendrick Motorsports teammate, Chase Elliott. We're back to green with 8 to go.
See, the third row got separated. Now they're going to start getting momentum. Who will get to the row in front of them first? When they get there, it'll be a big push.
Look at that 71 of Michael McDowell. He has been in the mix for so long. Now they split. Whoa! Top 3 positions are all Hendrick Motorsport Chevrolets. And Michael McDowell trying to take the fight to them.
Larson got underneath Byron, and then Byron had a big side draft onto the Larson in the middle of the corner. Almost contact. Look at the pushing and shoving. That trial will see. That is not where you want to push.
Great momentum out of that 71 and that 22. I think the newer tires definitely allow them to be a little more aggressive on the wheel. It seems like, especially through the trial, as you mentioned, Jeff, and corner entry, 22 switches lanes. He's going to go down and pick up the 5. Nope, back to the top.
You see that big bit of debris go flying?
Yeah.
I did.
Michael McDowell now on their low side. Joey Logano. That 22 for Team Penske ducked up the inside.
Everyone needs to be very careful. He keeps getting higher. That 19 is going to go 3 wide middle. There it is, 3 wide middle. The 71 out of line. The 71 just got too high. Allowed the 19 to shut him out, and he did.
No help for him. He is going to go all the way to the back. Steve, you said it. You just cannot give them the inside left rear quarter panel because they will move you to the outside. This is a great opportunity to learn how aggressive it is right now, because this is great practice for the end of the race.
What a move by the 24. Push him out, turn left, get to his inside. I'm shocked by the recovery of the 22.
The two-time and reigning Daytona 500 winner on that bottom lane, but it's Joey Logano and Chase Briscoe who go to the front, with Ross Chastain looking to tuck in somewhere.
Oh, Joey was trying to block. He just could not make that block on Briscoe.
The 24 is going to run right down the middle. Now he bleeds to the top. Oh, no, the 22 got to his outside.
3 teammates. William Byron, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott. They're coming up on Denny Hamlin, who's ailing with that damaged car.
I'm going to tell you something. I don't believe that William Byron's car is driving very well. That car is darting around.
I think tires are matter. I think tires matter because those 300 cars are on old tires, and I'm with you, Jeff. They just don't look like they can tug on the wheel like the 19, 22, the 1. Remember, that big accident has shrunk the pack a little bit, and I think that just means there's more space available. So if you put tires on, you can, you can go places.
Parker, what you got?
Well, Steve, to your point on tires, Chase Elliott told Alan Gustafson under this last caution that tires are definitely starting to matter, and that he wants fresh tires when they get in the next stage.
Speaking of that, Briscoe and Logano and Chastain, they all pitted on lap 85. They're all the same. Inside the final 3 laps here in stage 2.
Like right there, the 19's able to slide up, turn the wheel. As the leader, he just looks more secure with his car. I feel like the 24 is kind of switching lanes. Well, I thought it was by accident. That was absolutely by choice. A big turn to the left, but can he hold it wide open with this shove from the 5? Or will he get tight right here off turn 4? Looked pretty good. Yeah.
It's super aggressive. Coming to 2 to go in this stage. Logano to the outside.
And Briscoe just gets swamped.
Uh-oh, now the 5's going to be stuck in the middle. This could be the end of Larson as well. Will anybody come to his aid? No, sir. Back goes the 5. 3 wide is waiting, though. The 19 of Briscoe 3 rows back, but I don't think he'll get there in time. No, he jumps out of line to go by the 5.
It's so dramatic when you get left with no one to help. Saw it happen to McDowell, to Larson, to Briscoe. Briscoe was able to recover a little bit, but it's Ross Chastain pushing Joey Logano. Then Ryan Preece.
Preece with a big run, a block. A huge block from Chastain on Preece.
Larson's able to duck up the inside of Ryan Blaney. Blaney stuck in that middle row by himself. Now gets some help from fellow Chevrolet driver Ty Dillon. Final lap brought to you by Credit One Bank.
22 has the lead, but can he defend? There will be an absolute run at the end of this back straightaway. It's coming from the 1 of Chastain. The outside has the push.
William Byron gave Joey Logano a nudge there. Logano, Chastain. Who do you like the look of? Here they come to the line. Ross Chastain has his nose in front, and Ross Chastain will grab the win of stage 2. That gave us something to look forward to at the end of this Coke Zero Sugar 400. At the end of the regular season. Been 2 great finishes to the 2 stages thus far here in Daytona. NASCAR on NBC is brought to you by Applebee's. Help us squeeze out childhood cancer. Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. Visit progressive.com. Toyota. Let's go places. And by Coke Zero Sugar. Fan work is thirsty work. Back here at Daytona, and the 24 is in. Dave, tell us more.
He is on pit road when it's closed. That will be a penalty. He'll have to go to tail end of the longest line when they come back. But he was so close on fuel. Remember, he pitted last on lap 38, so he was almost out, Parker.
And Chase Elliott failed to get stage points there in their tight battle for second in the regular season point standings. He's going to get 4 tires, and Fuel reported the car that he was very happy with the handling. Thought he could be aggressive even on those older tires.
Hey, you look good at the end of that second stage.
Yeah, so what their penalty for pitting when pit road is closed, as Dave said, is they'll have to start at the tail end of the longest line.
And basically, they pitted because they thought they would run out of gas to run one more caution lap. And that penalty, you could lose a lap. Like if you coast to a stop on the backstretch, and, they'll push you in, but, by the time they push you around here, you could easily lose a lap.
So just using that second stage as an example, that's what Alex Bowman wants to see, meaning an already guaranteed playoff driver winning the whole thing. And that means the 48 will make its way in. If you're just joining us, Alex Bowman was caught up in a big wreck earlier in this race in stage 1, along with 11 other drivers, and his car was too damaged to continue. So on the points that he's accumulated so far, he would be in. But if there is a fresh winner, he will be out.
Yeah, Alex Bowman told us after exiting the infield care center that he was going to be watching. That's going to be nerve-wracking for sure.
Yeah.
Busy pit road. Expect most everyone to come in.
Dave Burns is standing by. Dave, take it away.
And big Rick Rozier, who showed me how to fuel this week, he will fuel John Hunter Nemechek in the 42 upper left there. They'll go on a count, no tire change there. Joey Logano is going to get right side and left side tires, plus full of fuel. His car was free, Kim.
Crew Chief Adam Stevens giving his driver Christopher Bell the option, fuel only or right. Christopher said rights, I need some grip. They also tightened it up because it was edgy when the pace picked up, Marty.
Again, after winning the stage, Ross Chastain caught his breath and he said, man, that is not fun being pushed like that. I'm way freer up front. But you saw the team leave, or Ross leave too early. They had to push him back in the stall and finish fueling the car.
It was messy between the 12 and the 1. A couple mistakes.
Stage 3 coming up. Two stages complete here in the Coke Zero Sugar 400. And the final one, the most important one of the regular season, still coming up under the lights here in Daytona. Lee Diffie, Jeff Burton, and Steve Letarte with you, enjoying this final race of the regular season. I want to show you some pit road replays. Have a close look at this.
Well, it starts with the one of Ross Chastain, who's very long in his pit box. So long that it actually has a penalty. He's over the front line while gassing at the bottom of your screen right here. So while he's putting gas in the car, the 12 is waiting because he expects this gas only to be very quick. So he waits and waits and waits and finally comes around the 1. So the 1 being long and having a slow stop really hurt the 12. I'm not sure why the 12 was waiting unless he didn't think he could get around the 1 safely. But either way, it's a penalty on the 1 and a huge disadvantage for the 12.
He just thought it was a gas-only stop, so he thought that, the crew chief's like, hey, he'll be in here quick. He didn't realize he was going to overshoot the box. He thought it was best served just to wait, and it ended up costing him. You're trying to work together, right? The two teams sitting next to each other will let them know, hey, I'm doing fuel only, right? To prevent a accident on pit road. But in that case, Chastain running through his pit box, then having to come back, it actually didn't work out very well.
Keen to hear the thoughts on the Peacock pit box. Here's Brad, DJ, and Marty. Guys?
Lee, I'm happy to report as these other cars come down pit road, there were no jet dryers involved in stage 2 for Brad and DJ, and a much calmer stage 2 as well. I'm surprised, as chaotic as stage 1 was, DJ, that was a very calm stage.
Yeah, of course, you got a lot less cars there, so that took a lot. That big crash took a lot of the contenders or people hoping to get a win here tonight out of the mix. But you have to look at who is out there. The chance for drivers needing a win tonight has gotten a lot less now that the drivers that have won here, and I look at Joey Logano, you're going to have to beat that 22 car if you plan on winning this race tonight.
Let's check out the credit ones to watch for the rest of the race, and I think there's a number of candidates. I think you picked that guy.
Yeah, that's my man right there. We've seen him here before. If he gets the lead, we know how wide he makes that car.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But Michael McDowell made a huge mistake in that last second for that run, and it's a Daytona 500 winner. He's great every time we come here. I think he will be seeing red these next 60 laps. Watch out for that 71.
In full disclosure, Brad, I picked my pick before that penalty on pit road just a moment ago, but I went with Ross Chastain.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not intimidated by the fact that they're this far back after that penalty a moment ago from pit road. He restarted 18th in stage 2, diff 1. Stage 2, we'll see if Ross Chastain can do it again at his home race. Used to come here as a fan in the stands. Maybe he can win his first ever Daytona Cup race.
This restart right here, diff. I'm not worried about the ones penalty because every car you see right there, single file, is technically under penalty. Pit road is closed when they come to one to go, so you know it's tail end. Everybody came in to put fuel in their car, or basically the back half of the field. Be interested to see what NASCAR does. It's a little messy. We got the front 5 or 6 rows organized. Then the 88's trying to figure out where he should be in the 5. There really should be a very large line of single file cars. You cannot double up. If you double up right here, you're going to be under penalty. So we're going to see if NASCAR makes sure everybody's in the right spot. It seems like it looks right with so many single file cars. All of those cars chose to come in and get a little more gas.
Ready to start stage 3 of the Coke Zero Sugar 400. The final stage of the regular season. Away we go.
You mentioned it earlier, all the names in the front can upset the playoff picture. We're looking at them now. It's a fresh set. Nemechek, Buscher, Jones, Preece, Gibbs, all needing wins to make the playoff.
It's the 2 Legacy Motor Club Toyotas on that bottom line running 1-2. Toyotas filling those first 3 positions. Here's the view from Austin Dillon, last week's winner.
Spoke openly about his goal coming into this race was to push his teammate, Kyle Busch, but Kyle Busch in an early wreck. Now Austin Dillon can just go out there and just take care of himself and try to win this race.
Let's quickly check out the Toyota driver update and John Hunter Nemechek. The best placed at the moment, right there with his teammate. And fellow Toyota driver Christopher Bell on the outside for JGR in that green Toyota Camry. John Hunter runs well here. Great average finishing position. His teammate Eric Jones has won this race. He won it as a 22-year-old. And what about Ryan Preece? Still very much in the mix, right behind his teammate Chris Buescher.
Little Bites on board, getting a workout. Preece has been putting some moves on today. Everyone in the field needs another pit stop. Nobody can make it from this restart. 57 to go. We think they can run about 50.
Hey, Jeff, seeing Buescher and Preece there together, they were in the media center together yesterday, speaking to everybody. And jokingly, of course, oh, problems again for Casey Mears.
It's like another flat tire on the right side.
And that's what happened early on in stage 1.
No caution so far.
Right side tires, right side tires.
Oh, it just goes flat.
Oh.
Luckily for Todd Gilliland, Casey was able to keep that thing straight enough.
A little bit of contact, but as long as no debris comes off this car, NASCAR will do their best to not throw this caution.
Same. Good fortune, too, for BJ McLeod.
Yeah.
So here's Casey limping his way back to the pits.
And unfortunately for Casey, he's on the lead lap. He was on the lead lap. He recovered from that earlier accident.
So back to that story about Bushman Freeze. Busher says jokingly, because they kept getting asked about what it's like to race your teammate for a final spot. Can you get in? You win and you're in. And, you know, it's been tight for those two guys the past couple of weeks. Busher says, thou shall not wreck one's teammate until you get to the line and they're running backwards. But those two get on so well. They're great teammates this year with that expanded program at RFK to 3 cars with those two and Brad Keselowski, not only as a teammate, but as one of their bosses. And they still have a chance.
They have to feel pretty good about where they are right now. To be 55 laps to go left in this race and in the position that they've worked hard. Now they got to keep it. Now they got to find a way with pit stops, with aggression happening on the racetrack, to not lose the track position that you've worked all night long to get.
And, you know, we're going to talk a lot about that pit stop, but I think, you know, we've seen some cautions tonight. We saw cautions in the spring that have not necessitated green flag cycles. I really think, to your point, Jeff, you just do whatever you have to do to run up front. Don't start worrying about giving up now. They're in good position.
Dave, let's talk more about John Hunter Nemechek, because his crew chief, Travis Mack, said prior to this race, keep an eye out for us because John Hunter is a really good super speedway racer.
And Lee, I think if you go back and look at your previous races, you will see the 42 up front a lot. And in only 5 starts, he has the best average finish of any Cup driver in the series right now, 9.8. I played Hey Did You Know with his team owner, Jimmy Johnson, when I talked to him earlier today. And Jimmy didn't know that stat. He's like, no. And I believe it because the guy is really good. John Hunter gets it. He gets out front. When you got your teammate behind you, that's a big help too.
Working that throttle even out front. Slowing the field down about 1.5 seconds slower than we've seen. That works with a teammate behind. He's being patient.
So interesting. Both of those guys need to win tonight. Teammates, they'll have some difficult decisions to make. And then there's other people in this field that have won already. They know they're in the playoffs with nothing to lose. As this race starts to narrow down, up Denny Hamlin.
Oh man, a big flat right front tire on the 11 car. Obviously damage. I'm assuming it's because of a tire rub or something. We'll see if this will create a caution.
He had damage earlier in the night.
He's only heading into turn 1. This is going to have to bring...
Turn the car!
There we go. There's the caution.
So he said he can't turn the car. That's why the car is kind of climbing up on the banking.
It's not been a fun night for Denny, unfortunately. Let's have a look at what happened.
Yeah, remember, already had damage. Had been on pit road working on this car. Tire goes down, probably from a tire rub, something from the damage. And then that damaged something else, and you heard him say, I can't turn the car. So car ends up the racetrack. All he could do is stop.
I believe we're going to see a packed pit road.
Let's have a listen to some radio from the 11.
How the did we do this? We will look at it in the garage and talk about it. I don't know yet what's broken.
Frustration between drivers. It's not how you want to enter the playoffs. I know they're running for points, but at some point, I'm not sure what he's got going on. He's staying on the racetrack up against the wall, just dragging and grinding. And
what is going on here?
I thought he would have come to pit road right there.
Does he have so little control of the wheel that he couldn't come down pit road?
Well, if that's the case, you think you would stop. Well, with pit road being closed, the leaders won't pit. This will just get 1 lap closer to what I think the fuel window would be. So I imagine the whole field will be coming to pit road when it does open.
When you said that you feel is getting closer to that pit window. What's the outer edge of that? How far could you stretch?
I think we're here.
50?
Yeah, 50? Well, I think guys were going to try to go 55 or 54 running way part throttle. I think 50 we're getting closer to running more full song. I think 45 to 47 is probably, hey, no concern, run as hard as you want. But from 50, I think everybody can find 3 laps between part throttle and diff. I'm going to go out on a stretch and say we're going to have some yellow flags.
I'm just looking down into turn 4 and where Hamlin is, and Hamlin is finally coming to pit road this time. So the 11 has made it on there.
See if he can get it stopped. His brakes are working.
As we see here, Denny Hamlin on pit road, guys. He was listening to his radio there as all this was going down. He was driving around so the team could get prepared to sort of try and fix it. He wanted just tires, but wasn't sure what broke. The team wanted to investigate what's happened in the right front there and find out what is broken. And as you mentioned, Steve, he was riding around in an attempt to get some points. This team came in here in that close battle between 2nd and 6th in the regular season point standings. So they were hoping to maybe pick up some points and keep going. And Denny, pretty frustrated, as you heard on the radio there.
So the night that has been full of incidents and attrition, Riley Herbst out, Austin Cindric out, Bubba Wallace out, Noah Gragson out, all with damage. Alex Bowman out, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. out, all with damage. Kyle Busch spent a long time in the garage, and then he's some 64 laps down. Carson Hocevar out with that blown motor.
Pit's still not open. So Steve, this extended caution gets people even closer to being able to fill up and make it to the end.
Oh, they're all going to come at this point. I think the whole field will come, race to the end. Remember, some cars topped off, some needed a little more fuel than others, but I don't think there'll be a big split in pit stop times.
We've seen pit road pretty calm, tonight. Not everybody on pit road at the same time, but things are getting ready to change.
Yeah.
As track position starts to matter more and more.
Well, this is a night that can really change the complexion of the rest of your season. You win here, you walk your way into the playoffs.
The biggest wild card race of them all.
Are you kidding me? Holy yes! You are the man, buddy. I can't believe it.
This is going to be a finish we'll be talking about. Young Eric Jones, he'll score the win at Daytona.
How about that race, boys and girls? Huh?
Justin Haley, the biggest upset in NASCAR history.
Checkered flag in the air, and William Byron will go playoff racing.
These guys have done an awesome job today and gotten us in the playoffs, and it's amazing, man.
Austin Dillon, Richard Childress Racing, they are going to the playoffs.
It's crazy. You just never give up.
Comes to the line! Jeff, your little boy has done it!
I cried the whole victory lap.
Can I have another chance to do that high five after I whiffed last year?
I thought I was in danger. I thought I was going to be hit.
I injured myself. I never really said that, but like,
can we practice it again now? Can we do it? There we go. We'll get it. We'll finally get it right. But that little package there just shows just how much it means. And this race has seen for the last 15 years a different winner every time. Who might it be tonight, Dave?
Lee, John Hunter Nemechek needs to win to get into the playoffs. His fueler is down. Big Rick goes down after fueling the car. Kim.
Fuel only for Austin Dillon. Top right, they're going to pack it full, said Max Safe. Christopher Bell will take tires. He wanted that extra grip. Eric Jones also in for fuel, just trending a little loose on that 43.
This is great. I love this moment. Just everybody feels they have a chance. It's different for the guys who are already in. But what about John Hunter Nemechek? Desperation, desire, victory in sight.
One of NASCAR's crown jewel events.
You won't find anywhere that's harder to win.
Stay up, watch, go middle.
I'm down to the left front stroke, big time.
Watch your bottom. Coming up, he's there. Damn it. Caution's out.
Hang on to it. Little bastard.
Contact! Oh, he's lost it.
You gotta be kidding, I'm an idiot.
Multi-car incident.
Bouncing off each other like pinballs.
Darlington defines the best.
Hell yeah. Southern 500 winner, Denny Hamlin.
Yeah! Hell yeah! Good job, Eric Jones.
This race is all about keeping your head in it.
Hell yeah!
Chase Briscoe just raced his way into the playoffs.
Holy smokes, this was a freaking killer 500.
If you have never been to Darlington and it's within reach, next weekend, Labor Day weekend, go. Last year was my first time there and I was blown away. The history really grips you. It's a really special place. And as Jeff said earlier in this broadcast, to go from Daytona to Darlington, what a couple of weeks. We're going to cap the regular season here. It's the beginning of the NASCAR Cup Series 2025 playoffs next weekend in Darlington, USA. Countdown to Green starts at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Going to be a huge weekend. Let's get some updates from pit road. Marty, you kick us off.
Yeah, how about Ryan Blaney, the next to last car on the lead lap? So what Jonathan Hassler is going to do here is he's going to bring Blaney back down pit road when they get 1 to go. He's all the way back in the 26th position. On the first stop on the cycle, they took brand new tires. Hassler's point is if we top off with 1 to go, you can run hard right from the beginning. We'll be good on fuel, Kim.
Well, Marty, we talk about the importance of spotters at super speedways, and for Christopher Bell, he cycled through a couple of different spotters this year. Started with Stevie Reeds, then used Matt Philpott, and then landed with Tab Boy in the middle of the summer. But this is their first super speedway race together. So Tab told me they sat down this week, they rewatched super speedway races, they listened to audio so he could figure out what Christopher needs. He is confident up on the spotter stand, though. Tab with over a dozen wins on super speedways, Dave, across 3 different series.
Kim had a chance to talk to Rick Rozier just a second ago, and he was beside himself, so upset that that fuel stop had gone wrong. Remember, they didn't put tires on the 42 car of John Hunter Nemechek, so when they have received a penalty for that fuel can going outside of the pit box, they're probably going to come back down here and put tires on the car. We'll see what happens, but Rick just so upset that that went wrong. Parker.
And Dave, similar to what Marty reported on Ryan Blaney there for AJ Allmendinger, who's right now currently in second. They're going to pit when they get to 1 to go here so they can go as hard as they can with the fuel they'll have in that car. You'll also see the 51 of Cody Ware and the 99 of Daniel Suarez. All 3 of those cars in a must-win position if they want to make the playoffs. They're going to top up full of fuel here at the 1 to go as you see them on pit road.
A busy pit road at 1 to go with pit road closed. The penalties just tail end. So much like the last restart, we're going to have just an enormous line of single file cars behind the field. You see the 42, John Hunter Nemechek changing tires now.
Marty?
Yeah, Lee, same move for Phil Surgeon and Ross Chastain here. So they are waited that entire time. They were actually 4th on the track when they came down pit road. They're taking their tires here, getting enough fuel to what they think to go all the way. And as we promised, Jonathan Hassler brings Ryan Blaney down. Just going to top him off with fuel here. So it's going to be interesting, Steve. Do you think these teams that hit it with 1 to go will have a little bit of an advantage here on this restart?
Well, I think they're going to feel like they have an advantage if it runs green, but we have a long ways to go. I'd be just shocked if they can all mind their P's and Q's from here to the finish. But that's basically what they're doing. These cars, you know, we're only talking a couple caution flag laps, 2 or 3, depending on the car. But that's enough that maybe you're just going to save a little gas for a while. If you're Ryan Blaney, you don't have to save gas. You try to hope to catch the field kind of cruising around. These drivers are asked to do a whole lot in these pack races anymore. It's more than just picking the right line and trying to figure out who has the momentum. It's also managing, you know, the tires, managing the gap, managing your teammates, managing the fuel. Jeff, it's a pretty long laundry list.
It really is. And on top of that, winning this race means that you move along, chance to win this race and go to the playoffs. Let's listen to what Austin Dillon and his team are discussing.
Like if we go hard this whole time leading, we cannot make it to the end. Is that right? It's going to be really, really hard. So just got to be mindful of that. Save where we can when we can. But we can't get shucked either. You know what I mean? Like we need to keep our track position, and if we're in a situation where we're going to be light on fuel, we just got to hope we get some cautions to help us.
So go fast. Don't give up track position. Save fuel.
Yeah,
that's it. Just do that. It's easy.
Well, for that reason, there's Richard Childress, owner of RCR. This is why the restart looks the way it does. You see about 10 rows of 2 and then 15 or 18 cars single file.
Joey Logano and last weekend's winner, Austin Dillon, lead them back to green. Kyle Larson tucks in behind the RCR racer. And here we go, 45 left. It was a thoroughly enjoyable night in Richmond a week ago. And for those fans of RCR and Austin Dillon, your man got there. And it was quite poignant when he said post-race, I want to thank my grandfather, Richard Childress, for sticking with me through these tough times and not choosing a different driver. And midweek, Richard Childress said, you know, it goes beyond him just being my grandson. He said, he's a heck of a racer. And we never even thought about that. He's worked just as hard as we have.
Yeah, remember, Austin Dillon's won a truck championship and Xfinity championship.
Yeah, no one's ever hit the trifecta. A few have come close. Greg Biffle also won first 2, never was able to do it at the cup level.
Well, we enjoyed this ride with Dillon. Pick your way through those guys who feel they have a chance. Eric Jones in the 43, Chris Buescher in the 5th, the 17, Justin Haley in the 7. They're at the front of this pack, and they need to be at the very front of this pack when the checkered flag comes out.
It goes deeper. Priest in the 60, Custer in the 41, Keselowski in the 6, Gibbs in the 54, Dillon in the 10, McDowell in the 71. This top 15 is littered with guys that have a chance to win this race.
Before the green flag dropped earlier this evening here in Florida, guys outside that cutoff line. There were 2 Cup champions, 2 Daytona 500 winners, and 3 summertime Daytona 3 summertime Daytona winners. That just shows the depth of this field and what's on the line here tonight.
And we thought we were going to have a points battle between Reddick and Bowman, but a couple accidents. Reddick in the 1st, Bowman in the 2nd, basically locked Reddick in on points. So now the question is very simple. It's either Bowman or a new winner. That will set the playoff field.
And Bowman is nothing he can do. He's just sitting, watching television, hoping the wrong guy didn't win.
Both the Legacy Motor Club Toyotas have looked good tonight. Look at that 43. A tribute to the King in those STP colors. Just a moment ago, Jeff mentioned Brad Keselowski in with a shot. Let's have another listen to TJ Majors. There's TJ, bottom box.
1.5 apart in front.
You see the frustration when we went to
1.5, 1.5, 1 apart in front. Still 1. Still lined up outside, 2 by 2 here. A lot of help on you, 71, 51, 110, all lined up with you. One apart in front.
Keep an eye out on that top lane for the monster Toyota Camry of Ty Gibbs. We have not seen a lot of Ty tonight. He's pitted on lap 111. He runs in 10th. There he is right there, tucked in behind Josh Berry, ahead of Tyler Reddick.
I mentioned that frustration about the spotter of the 6 because I think he sees the organized 2x2 and knows there's nowhere where his boss is going to go, right? Brad is just going to basically, you know, ride along right here at the bottom lane and has to just patiently wait for handling to come in or people start making moves, Jeff. There's just, you know, there's nothing he can do right now. Now, if you get lackadaisical, you can go backwards. They'll take you 3 wide and you can lose spots, so you have to defend, but there's just not a lot of offense going forward.
3 wide is tight at this racetrack. I know a lot of people think of Daytona being a very wide racetrack, but it is nowhere near as wide as Talladega. 3 wide is a heavy workload.
Is your favorite driver not yet locked into the playoffs? Well, they still have a chance if they're still in this race. 39 to go here in Daytona. Coke Zero Sugar 400 here at Daytona. 35 laps to go. And a driver who got pushed on the wrong side of the playoff line has a chance of winning his way in. He sits second. His name is Chris Buescher for RFK Racing. The Texan has tucked in behind race leader Joey Logano.
And the other cars didn't listen to you about being narrow at Daytona because they have finally got the 3 wide for about 7 rows, Jeff. We just know this feels like a ticking clock as we get closer and closer. The energy picks up. The patience are going to run out. We still have a long ways to go.
Well, the worst thing you want to see if you're the row behind 3 wide, because what are you going to do? There is nowhere to go. The only thing you can do is try to push your line forward.
That's when frustration is going to happen. You see right there on board with Reddick, Brad Keselowski on the bottom, trying to get that momentum going. We saw him kind of stuck in line 2 wide. Well, here he is trying to make those moves.
Briscoe trying to decide in that second row if he wants to be in the middle or on the bottom.
We haven't mentioned the 41 of Custer much tonight, but there he is. That Haas factory car right there. Very familiar paint scheme. Gonna give a shove to the 3 on the inside lane.
Like Austin Dillon jumped to the bottom. He wanted to be the first car leading a lane. See if that model works.
Eric Jones in that very iconic 43 scheme is like, yeah, I haven't switched lanes, and now all of a sudden I'm in the middle of a swarm.
On board with thanks to Brez Tree. Here's Austin Dillon looking at Chase Briscoe.
Jeff, you mentioned something during break. You said if this runs long enough under green, handling is going to matter, and I agree. Because at the same time the tires are losing grip, the pushes are going to get stronger.
And you have to be more aggressive. You can't wait to make a move. The second you see it, you got to drive into it. Big push right there from the 43 to the 19. When the car doesn't drive well, it's hard to be aggressive. It's hard to just have confidence. You can put it wherever and it's going to stick.
Am I crazy, or did this just escalate quick?
It did,
in about
really
5
quickly.
laps.
The whole tone changed.
It's like everybody was getting instruction on have to save a little after this. Okay, cuffs are off. Make it happen.
Briscoe drifting up to that middle lane, now decides to come back down. That's something that's going to be key at the end. It was something that our teammate Parker Kligerman did so well last night to win his way in the Xfinity Series race. That split-second decision-making, working in unison with your spotter, but that instinct, that split-second instinct, mirrors, feel, communication.
On board, Brad Kozlowski, Coleman Presley, the spotter for the 22, is working overtime right now. Looks simple because the 17's behind, but he knows that it can happen in an instant. The 17 can take that run. The bottom lane can get organized.
We talked about Alex Bowman's situation, sitting, watching this race. I know there's a lot of guys that I would be afraid to win it, but the one running second would have my attention. Chris Buescher. He won this race a few years ago. He is a very good racer all around. He's good road courses. He's good at drafting style racetracks. And he is hungry. RFK, no cars in the playoffs. You have to get in the playoffs for it to be a successful year.
Steve, you just mentioned Coleman Presley. Let's have a listen to the spotter of the 22.
2 wide for 6 rows, nose ahead bottom on a tandem. Inside, there's 4 cars and then it's soft. Just 4 cars and then soft. 17, 5, 60, 21 is 2 wide, 3 wide behind them. 29 laps to go. Still inside. 19, 43, 7, 54, 3 bottom. 17, 5, 60, 21 top. 2 wide racing, bottom lane's gone. The bottom lane is lane 2 here with the 19. Paul, talk to me about our fuel.
Looking good.
Stuff. Still inside, equal strength. You are clear, the 17 is not, 17 is not, 17 is a tight one, 17 is clear, 17 is clear, 17 is a tight clear on exit, 17 is a tight clear, the 19's bubbled out, soft at our 4s, soft at our lanes 4. 2 wide racing here, 17 is clear, nose ahead top. 17 is clear, nose ahead top. There's 5 guys making the bottom work right here. They're loose at their 5. 17 is cleared. 17 is cleared. 17 is cleared. Distance is going to get back inside. Only you are now. Only you are now. Lanes are built the same. Lanes are built the same. Nose ahead bottom. Nose ahead bottom. Nose ahead bottom built the same. Still there.
Coleman Presley. He is from a great racing family, the Presley family. Unbelievable racers in North Carolina. He and Joey Logano have known each other, been friends forever, and that is a language they speak to and of themselves. You know, they have trained themselves and know what all those words mean. They have watched hours and hours and hours of tape to come up with those phrases so that Joey Logano knows what's going on behind him, not just what's in front. Because Joey, knowing that, he can start playing defense. He knows what lane to be in. He knows what's coming from behind without even having to look. That is complete trust, but it's also training. It almost sounds like a play coming from the sideline to a quarterback.
Yeah, shorthand for sure. The pushers are getting big.
That was close with Eric Jones. Really close. And again, the 22 of Joey Logano coming good at the right end of the season. The drive last weekend in Richmond from the back to fourth was brilliant. It was really methodical. The three-time and reigning Cup Series champion leads with 27 laps to go. This is going to be a thrilling end. Problems for BJ McLeod. Went up into the wall and now is limping down the back stretch towards pit road entry.
Yeah, big hit for the 78. Shocked there's not a caution. You see the damage to the right side of the car. BJ's on the lead lap.
So pull as far away from the racetrack as he can get.
Good work. Meanwhile, it's Chris Buescher pushing fellow Ford driver Joey Logano. And how about Eric Jones? Does the famous 43 have a chance? And Haley, look at Justin Haley in the Gainbridge 7 for Spire Motorsports and Ty Gibbs. There are drivers everywhere in this front of this pack who need to win to get in.
And look at all the ground the 19 car has lost. The 17 of Buescher, he lost a few, but he was able to recover. But they had an issue getting into turn 3. Watch this. 43 to the quarter panel, the 17 drags him back. The 19, I don't know if he's being pushed by the 5 car a little bit. He had to get out of the gas, and look at all the momentum he loses.
That's what it looked like. Looked like he had to check up for the 17. Here's what happened to the 78. Gets caught by the 34, and as I mentioned, really hard hit in the outside fence. Was able to keep going straight.
talk more about Chris Buescher with Kim Kuhn. Kimmy?
Yeah, RFK trying to put a car into the playoffs. I asked crew chief Scott Graves this morning how much pressure is on that 17 team, and I was surprised when he told me the stress actually went away when the points route for them to the playoffs disappeared. Now they have one focus, win this race. They've won it in 2023. They have high hopes they can do it tonight. I would guess maybe the stress level's a little ratchet up with 20 to go here. Chris was just told, though, lap and a half to the good fuel-wise.
He said yesterday, vehemently, he said, one of the three of us can get in, because without even turning a wheel in practice or qualifying, he said, our cars are strong. I know that. They're just going to roll off strong. We've got the speed. We've got the fuel efficiency. We will be contenders. And he is, with 19 laps to go.
That's 7 of Justin Haley leading the outside lane. He has a win here in Cup. It was a lightning shortened race. 2 wins in the Xfinity Series. A few years ago, when he was full-time Xfinity, I thought he was one of the premier drafters in that series. He really had to make the runs work. He seemed to always find his way to the front. I think he moved to Spire when they were still building their equipment, and now the equipment matches his ability, and here he is running inside the top 5.
Big run by Logano right here. Got a big run, hung a left on the 43 of Jones, and Buescher, he did a great job recovering from that incident in turn 3. Look way back in the pack, the 19 of Briscoe, he could not recover.
And there is Ty Gibbs, just quietly hanging in the top 6 on the bottom lane. 54, the monster Toyota Camry. What can the youngster do tonight? Imagine that. Imagine if he repeated what your son did last year, gets his first Cup win and races his way into the playoffs.
The pushes are getting more aggressive. 18 to go. How do you get from 10th, 12th, 14th to the front? If you're Buescher, how do you push Logano to the front? You have to be aggressive. It's the only way you can make it work.
This has been a wonderfully positive night for Legacy Motor Club. Earlier for John Hunter Nemechek, pretty much for the whole night long for Eric Jones, as he leads yet another lap. Talk more about Jones. Here's Kim.
Yeah, we've talked at length this season just about how Legacy Motor Club is trying to chip away at their program, slowly making gains, starting to see that. But most recently, Eric Jones has just not had the finishes they wanted. Finished 25th or worse in 5 of the last 7 races. Talk with the team, they said a win here would totally change the complexion of the second half of the season for him. Remember, Jones won here in 2018.
The King, he's carrying the King's colors. The King, Richard Petty, had 74 Cup races here. He won 10 times, and of course, amazing 7-time Daytona 500 winner. He won 3 of these summer races. Imagine if Eric could do it in those colors.
Yeah, that would make it even more special.
Look at Logano. Look how aggressive he got. A little bit of a side draft right to the quarter panel of the 43 car. Then he turned left and got away from him to get that air clean back up and get a push from the 17 of Buescher.
Let's remember, William Byron won the Daytona 500, but he took the white flag outside the top 5. And a lot happened in this last lap. So I know, as we see AJ Allmendinger with an issue, he's riding around on the flat of the racetrack, Parker.
Right, he's got a misfire in that engine. It's sort of, he just came on the radio and said it quit, so he's coasting back to pit road.
Right now he's in the middle of turn 2. We'll see if he can get any sort of fire under the hood to get back to pit road. The field will be coming by him right here. You're going to see him on the left side. He's off the racing surface, but right there on the apron.
What a shame on such a special day for Corlig Racing, Jeff, announcing their association with Ram coming into trucks next year.
Yeah, it's a big move for Corlig Racing, and also a big move for racing in general to have Ram coming back into the truck series. That's going to be fun.
Austin Hill and Zane Smith with wounded cars, and they just stay out of the way because here comes the pack. And just like that, fellas, there's only 14 laps left.
It has flown by. We talk about positioning all night long, but just look at the 42. He had that penalty. You know, now there he is outside the top 15. He was up front. Pit stop penalty just hurt him. His teammate continued to lead that outside lane.
Got to be careful if you're Buescher in that 17 car. You cannot give the bottom up to Ty Gibbs. You're pushing so hard at Logano. You have to focus, though. You cannot just let somebody have your inside.
You're starting to see that 3 wide back 6 or 7 rows. They know there's not enough laps if they don't really pull out of line. Even if they don't feel like it's a real positive move, they have to really try something.
Hey, Marty, we were talking yesterday about how Paul Wolf and the 22 team have been so focused on Darlington next weekend. But if they win here, what a boost heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, Lee, you know, it's funny. I talked to Paul Wolf about that yesterday, and I said, what did you do this week? He said, I focused a lot on Darlington. He said, very honestly, and Steve, you know this, there's not much I can do to prepare for Daytona. This is Coleman Presley and Joey Logano. Can they bring it home
now?
now?
Oh, the 22 gets spun.
Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, get it straight. Still green here, still green, still green, still green.
22 will spin to pit road, so the yellow won't come out.
After leading for 23 laps in this Coke Zero Sugar 400, the caution does come out.
Yeah, when it went straight into the grass, I think it forced NASCAR to throw a yellow. And now he's stuck.
Freaking stuck.
The frustration in Joey's voice when everything had been going so well.
At the front, this wreck happens. We see it so many times. Contact, and then contact to Buescher as well. You wonder how much damage he has. Did they touch here, Steve?
Man, I don't know if the 43 and the 22 touched or if the 22 just got loose. If they touched, it was very slight. Hard to tell from this angle. I mean, he's spinning. You don't know if he would have saved it or not, but then contact for the 17 ended it. Yeah.
What was that?
Look at this. Look.
There's a gap between Jones and Logano there.
I see a gap still.
I don't know if there is contact.
Man.
But what kind of damage is on the 17 of Buescher? And with 12 laps to go, can you afford to come down pit road and look at it, work on it? Probably not.
Nope. Nope. You're going to have to learn that there's too much damage after the green, because it looks to me that it folded in below that right front headlight.
Yeah.
You see right where the number is. It's hard to tell because there's so much movement in this Ford nose anyway. How about this? If I can't tell from this camera angle, there's no reason we're coming in.
Yeah, that is what the teams will do. There's cameras all over the racetrack that the manufacturers take advantage of. They will be looking at our shots, but they also have their own they can look at to really get a close-up.
Let's have a listen to Eric Jones' radio from a moment ago.
He knows. I never touched him.
Yeah, they just showed it on TV. You were an inch off his bumper, but there was a gap the whole time before he got loose.
And therefore.
We talked about as we get down to the end of this run, tires getting older. We heard drivers complaining about drivability at the end of long runs earlier in the race, and that's a good example of it. No contact, and Logano's car just goes around on him.
Here it is again.
Yeah, just simply got loose.
This is the better angle.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, right there, there's a solid 6 or 8 inches. I don't think, I mean, if there was contact, I think it's after the 22 is already getting loose. There you go. Let's take a look at this right on board. I don't think he hit him. And you saw the 22 on pit road. The last time we saw him, he was stuck. So they have this air system where they aired up the rear shocks, the things extend, and he drives it to his pit box. They do some work, and they release the thing, and it lowers back down. So good news for the 22, one of the teams that opted to have that system on their car here at Daytona. They did lose a lap, but there's for sure the opportunity to get the free pass with all the craziness getting ready to happen in these last 10 laps. Pit road open now. We will see if anybody decides towards the back half if tires are more important than track position. Can't imagine the leaders will, but somebody might say, my only chance, there you go, Austin Dillon. Briscoe, he lost his track position. Probably got to put tires on and put fuel in case we see a green-white checker, extra laps. These guys will be good on fuel before the leaders.
Ty Dillon Todd Gilliland, Josh Berry. Dave, take it away.
And the 19 of Chase Briscoe, who had lost all that track position. Remember when he got shuffled out? So why not come here now, put on 4, see if they can make some ground. Kim.
Austin Dillon also putting on 4, looking for a little extra grip so he can race hard here at the end, left on the jack.
So while this race off pit road happens, take a look at the race order, the standings on your screen, and how many drivers are in prominent positions who need to win to get in.
This is what this race has become. It's an opportunity. Eric Jones, Justin Haley, Priest, Buscher, Gibbs, McDowell, Custer.
It's building for a grandstand finish. The Coke Zero Sugar 400. Oh, this is building for an unbelievable finish. Last race of the regular season before we launch into the playoffs. Can Eric Jones do it in that historic, iconic paint scheme? The STP scheme, the last time that livery won here in Daytona. Richard Petty the King, 1984. Wouldn't that be special? And of course the King, part of Legacy Motor Club. And to celebrate, if he could do it. And Jones won here as a 22-year-old. Imagine if he wins with that, with Jimmy Johnson and Matt Kenseth, who's a team advisor, the King. So much surrounding this ever-improving Legacy Motor Club program. That'd be pretty cool.
Don't count out that 7 car, Justin Haley.
All right, here we go. We know what finishes are like here at the World Center of Racing. Do we go green the entire way with so much on the line? It's time to bring the action here in Daytona. There's a playoff berth waiting for somebody, or maybe, just maybe, Kyle Larson can win and keep his teammate Alex Bowman in the playoffs.
Who's going to be the first one to make it 3 wide? Mid-pack, how will you get to the front if you don't do something like that?
Look at all those cars at the front on the low line. Haley, Priest, Buscher, Gibbs, McDowell. They all need to win to get in, and they all stand a chance. 7 to go from here.
Interesting dynamic on the bottom. 2 RFK cars running right behind the 7 car. If you make a move, if you're Priest and you make a move, you have to believe that Chris Buescher's going to go with you.
Absolutely. And for the 7, his only saving grace is that double yellow line to his left is out of bounds. Look at the 43 wiggling on the nose of the 5. The 7 using that out of bounds line as a pick, not allowing the 60 to get to his left. That run down the backstretch for the 43, he had more wheel input than he did in the corner. It was unbelievable.
I love the positivity coming from Ryan Priest in the 60, who sits second on that low line. He said, I love this team environment. My first year with RFK. I've never been in a team like this. And he said the belief, the communication across the 3 of us and right across the team, and he gets a little loose with one of his teammates right behind him, Chris Buescher.
The 7's now clear, so isn't the 60 of Priest. He has options. Where will he go? He pulls right to the outside of the 7, the 43 out of line.
I think the 43 got pushed out of line.
Sure did. Priest to the front with Haley on the low line.
Priest did exactly what he needed to do right there. As soon as he got free and in single file with the 7, he jumped up on the outside to be the leader of a line.
And like that, Eric Jones to the back, no help. I mentioned it in a lap before, he just steered all the way down the backstretch. He was wrecking, basically. The 5 was pushing so hard, he just couldn't keep the car straight.
Great catch, great save. Justin Haley in that Gainbridge Chevrolet for Spire Motorsports. The place where he got his one and only Cup win. Can he do it again? And it's still hard to conceive that the driver of the 5, Kyle Larson, has never had a top 5 here at the World Center of Racing. Could he win to keep Bowman in?
So how can Larson disrupt the 60 car? What can he do to try to get by him? He has a teammate behind him. He can make a move and try to make it 3 wide on the outside, but the 9 would go with him. But with the 20, with the 24, we haven't seen 3 wide work all that often today, but with so much help behind him, I think it's worth a try.
Under 10 miles of racing to go. The 7 doing a really nice job. Very organized, straight, forcing the 17 to push, not allowing the 17 to get to his left. Just a half a car off the line, no more.
We're getting into that zone where some impatience will come out. 3 laps left here at Daytona.
Trying to go to the 3rd lane, we're gonna have to go for it.
There you go, we're gonna have to go for it. Because they know the reality. It's now or never. You're staring at a playoff berth, but who wants it more? Who's gonna be able to execute in the time when it counts?
Larson and Chase Elliott, the 2 Hendrick cars, if one of them can win, it would put their teammate Alex Bowman in. There's a lot of dynamics at the front of this pack.
2 teammates in the top 4, Ryan Priest and Chris Buescher. Here comes Larson, makes a 3rd lane, and it's gonna leave Ryan Priest with nobody to help. And that's not a view that he's enjoying.
He did nothing wrong. Priest did absolutely nothing wrong.
Now can they muster up a run to attack Haley? Here comes the 5 with a run off turn 2.
Big block. You have to put a block on here. Didn't get it done.
Boy, that 5 team and Larson, they need this boost heading into the playoffs. It's been a rough year ever since doing the double and Indy and the Coke 600. Look at Cole Custer in the 41 up against the fence. Larson's got his teammate in Elliott to come to his aid. What about Haley? They are coming to the white flag. 1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank. Cole Custer has gone to the front of this race.
He's gotten way out in front, though. Look at the gap that he's given Blaney.
Larson in the middle. Haley down low, being pushed by Chris Buescher. 3 hopefuls in the top 4 positions. Now Haley goes up to the fence, comes back down across in front of Cole Custer. Ryan Blaney now comes into the mix. Can you believe the finish that we are about to see? Cole Custer and Ryan Blaney. This would be epic for Haas factory team. Ryan Blaney ahead of Custer, coming to the line. Ryan Blaney's gonna do it. Wow, they spin across the line, but it's Blaney who gets it done and continues his amazing run of late. And that keeps Alex Bowman in the playoffs. So close for so many hopefuls, but it's a veteran for Team Penske that gets it done. And what about Daniel Suarez, who thought he may have had a chance? What a final lap.
Let's replay this whole last lap. A lot of things happened. It got really aggressive. Blaney was 13th with 2 laps to go. Did a great job of working himself to the front.
Right now, Custer's thinking to back up to the 12 to get the run. The 7 gets the big push, and this is where it kind of goes wrong for the 41. He makes a great move, but the 7 blocks, kills the momentum all the way down there, which allows the 12 to get 3 wide top, shot out of a cannon. I thought the 41 had momentum. Back to Buscher.
You see Blaney comes down right here. Custer tries to stay away from him, hoping for help, hoping to get some help, but Blaney did a great job of just looking in his mirror and getting the energy from behind to get to the start-finish line first. It would have been an interesting finish with the 41. He was below the yellow line on the back straightaway, but I believe NASCAR would have ruled he got pushed below the yellow line.
Good job, dude. Oh, yes. Go, boys! Great job.
13th to the win in 2 laps. Yep. What a drive by Blaney.
Alex Bowman just joined the Ryan Blaney fan club. With it comes
So, he was the last Ford driver to win way back in Nashville and the 14th race of the season. This is the 26th race. So he ends that drought, same driver. He had 5 top 10s in a row coming into this race. Now throw in another win on the season. Hitting great form at the right time, and unfortunately ending so many hopefuls' chances. The likes of Suarez and Buscher and Haley and Custer.
I mean, behind Blaney, the next 5 were guys that needed to win. They all put themselves in position, but Blaney took it from them.
How about Jones all the way back to 5th?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It was just a couple laps ago, he was going to the absolute tail of the field.
What a race.
Ryan Blaney, Team Penske, here in Daytona.
What an epic drive for Ryan Blaney. An un-Blaney-like night. He loves to lead. He rode in the back for much of this evening, but when it counted, he was able to come up through the field from 13th to the win in 2 laps with a little helping hand from Cole Custer as they came up through the field together on that final restart. Ryan Blaney wins for the 2nd time at Daytona. And as he always does, he will go collect the checkered flag and find a Ryan Blaney fan in the stands and give it away. Found a young man to give it to. Wow, I don't even know where to start with those final 2 laps. You made a plan with Cole Custer on that final restart to say, hey, we've got to work together. Did you ever dream it would turn into a win, though?
Yeah, man, I don't know. It's what a wild last couple laps, honestly. And you know, I was with Cole. I kind of asked him on the restart, like, if you go to the top, I'm going with you. And we kind of just waited and waited, and then the opportunity came, and he made a good move to get to the top, and we were able to really get good shoves. And a couple good guys behind us, and then it just kind of cleared the way for me when the 7 and 41 got racing, and I was able to clear on the top and just barely hold out for the win. So cool night, man. Everybody, thanks for coming, man. This is so cool. Awesome crowd tonight, awesome nights, and really appreciate Advanced Auto Parts, Menards, Ford, Roush Yates Engines, Dex Imaging, Wabash, the Worth Group, Body Armor, everything for they do. It's so cool to have Advanced Auto Parts in Victory Lane. Shane, the CEO, is here, so I can't wait to see him.
You played this race like you don't like to play super speedway races. You were in the back for the majority of it. How frustrating at times was this evening?
I mean, I think we kind of just took what was given to us, you know, like kind of how we played stage 1. Had to take a lot of gas in stage 2, and I wasn't going to make any ground, so I just really went into max fuel save mode to where maybe I could go a little bit earlier than other guys. And so, yeah, it's definitely a little bit not as traditional way of we like to run them. We like to lead laps and things like that, and I just couldn't really get there to the end, but got there when it mattered. So it's cool to win here again. Won here a few years ago, and nice to be back.
When I talked to him yesterday, he said, my first goal is just to finish. He did better than that. He gets to victory lane, and what a roll this 12 team is on to finish the regular season.
And Marty, he says, good to lead some laps. Well, Ryan, you led the most laps in the race. Most of them in the first stage, but the most important one of all. Progressive post-race show coming up here on NBC and streaming on Peacock. So we're going to have mixed emotions. The celebratory mode there of Ryan Blaney and Alex Bowman, who will point his way into the playoffs, and those who got oh so close. Daniel Suarez, Justin Haley, Cole Custer, Chris Buescher, Eric Jones, all super efforts, but just so close, just not enough. But boy, did they try. What a performance. Progressive post-race show coming up. More from Daytona. What a night.
We are the ones at the top of the mountain, climbed all the way up and never looked down. If the road wasn't rough, we might not have found the blood and some guts and thousands